Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
Good evening and welcome to a very busy edition of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott, and we are going to get into a lot of UFO news that is breaking tonight. The Cryptid Guy, Christian MacLeod, is here tonight, and we are going to have a major conversation with him. I don't know what the hell is happening in the UFO world, but man, it could be good. It could be really good. But first, let us say hello to each and every one of you. Kitty Caddywhack in the gold medal position. Race fan with a silver. T-Bone taking home a bronze medal tonight as we kick things off with Robert Lamoth and Thunderhead. Mel WD-40 is here lubing us up for tonight's show because you can't talk monsters, UFOs, and disclosure without being nice and lubed. So thank you, Mel. We really do appreciate it. All right, scrolling on down, Road Flare, Trucker Andrew, nice to have you both here. Mama Catherine, there she is. Mwah. I love you, my dear. Hope you had a great day, and I hope you enjoyed tonight's show. It's going to be really good, I promise. Pinky swear promise, Mama Catherine. Pinky swear promise. Moving on down, we got Frankie B. Up next, we have, let's see, lots of race fan action in the chat room. Honest Content is here. Honest Content will be signing autographs after the show. Line up to the left of the studio, if you don't mind. To the left of the studio. Luscious Jules, how are you tonight? As we continue on with our roll call, Gear Jammers, nice to see you. Hi there, Jaquetta, and thank you for coming on in. As we scroll on down on our roll call, good morning, Skip to my Lou. You're up early. Wow, what time is it over there? Let me know. Kathy Evans, how are you tonight? As we continue on with our roll call, the Goblin is here. The Goblin will be signing autographs after the show as well. Line up to the right of the studio, if you don't mind. To the right of the studio. Be gentle. It's the Goblin's first time signing autographs, so might be a little spooky for him. Might be a little spooky, but just be gentle, all right? Be gentle. That's all I'm saying. Area 51, how are you? Moving on down, we have, let's see, Bigfoot Fades, nice to see you. And who else do we have here? Well, let's take a peek here. We're going to scroll on down a little bit more, and a little bit more, and a little bit more, and a little bit more. And guess what? A little bit more. Jeremy, how are you? Stephanie Kenny Blankenship, thanks for coming on in as we continue on with our roll call. Say hello to Flubber Lane. Good to have you here. Undead Jed, nice to see you. Walter Kochabinski, Dunzel, nice to have you both here. As we scroll on down on our roll call, who is next? Well, let's just peruse, shall we? I am perusing as we speak. Scott Blight, how you doing? Nice to have you here. As we continue on with our roll call, Aussie Boss Tiger, thanks for coming on in. Jerence Carter is here. Jerence Carter. Good to see you. Good to see you. Blix, wow, it's been a while since you've been in here. We're glad you're here. Moving on down, the Ferret, Vancouver Island's own, right there. Moving on down, up next, we have Pam Harris. Number 1, how are you tonight? Number 2 in your program tonight, starting on defense from Stockholm, Sweden, Lars Jansson. There he is. Marcus R.T. Wolf, nice to see you. As we continue on with our roll call, Jeff Steve Garvey is here. He'll hit a home run for you. Hello and welcome to the radio and podcast side of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. We're glad to have you here as we prepare for a night of mystery and UFO talk. All right, night of mystery and UFO talk. T-Bone, thank you for kicking off the super chat on our YouTube side. We really do appreciate your love and support. And who else is here? The K-Stick Evers, welcome to SOR chat. And who else do we have? Who else? Who else is here? I think we're caught up. Oh, Cairo Terra, nice to have you here. I think we're caught up. The rest of you will get a hello from me, the chat room. It's that time of the night, everybody. It is that time. I'm going to ask you a little favor, just a wee favor. Throw those horns up. Let's rock.
Are you ready to hear your mystic voice of the night?
It's time to wake up.
He's here. Be quiet. He's ready for you to listen. Let's point our ears to what's that really happening next. We're together. It's time for Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott.
From the mountains of central British Columbia to you listening around the world, this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot. Read the news wire. Check out our swag as well. You can follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Tonight's show is brought to you by Caribou Con. Come to the heart of the Caribou from Caribou Con, British Columbia's only paranormal conference 2026. CaribouCon.com is where you get your tickets. We're going to get into some UFOs tonight, some monsters as well, but some big UFO news. The Cryptid Gee, Christian MacLeod, is here tonight for his monthly segment. He's also a part of MUFON, too, so it's going to be great to have this conversation with him. Then in hour number 3, Swamp Dweller will join us for another creepy story. We'll follow that up with Robin Haynes and the Cryptid Q&A. Gee will probably stick around for that because he normally does. So let's get right to it. Let's do it right here, right now. Christian MacLeod is the Director and Lead Investigator of American Cryptid and Paranormal Society, otherwise known as A.C.A.P.S, bringing more than 25 years of experience researching cryptids, hauntings, UFOs, and unexplained phenomena. Yes, this is where it gets interesting because he's a lifelong student of Native American history, culture, folklore, and legend. Christian has also dedicated his career to exploring the mysteries that exist at the crossroads of history. Why? Well, because it pertains to the paranormal, the occult, forbidden knowledge, forbidden archaeology, the Knights Templar, and much more. Through A.C.A.P.S, Christian has worked closely with renowned paranormal researchers from around the world, including he is also a member of MUFON in North Carolina. So he knows the topics well. Let's bring him on in. Christian MacLeod, the Cryptid Gee. Nice to have you here. How you doing, buddy?
Awesome to be here. It is it's like you said, man, it's an interesting time to be alive in the UFO realm, isn't it? It's a little strange the way things are going. But I'm looking forward to having a discussion tonight about it.
it is going to be very, very interesting because there is news that kind of broke today, courtesy of legendary journalist George Knapp. And this comes on the heels of yesterday when Mark Christopher Lee, former guest on this show, he has taken a lot of heat over the last little bit for basically since February claiming that a UFO speech was written and that it was only a matter of time before President Trump read the speech. And it's funny because yesterday Ross Coulthart came out and said, no, there is no speech. There is nothing. There's no speech prepared. His sources were telling him completely opposite. But Mark Christopher Lee let out something today. I'm going to read it to you. August 4th, 2026, Mark Christopher Lee, ufologist, filmmaker, and author of The Cosmic Joker, has issued a new statement regarding the long-awaited UFO disclosure speech by President Donald Trump. Lee, who first publicly shared information from Washington sources in early July that a presidential speech on non-human intelligence was written and ready, says recent developments indicate the address is now imminent. I was only a month out, Lee stated. My sources were clear in July that the speech existed and was prepared. The timing has shifted, but the latest information strongly suggests it will be delivered within the next 48 hours. According to reports circulating, key figures in the UAP community are already traveling to Washington, D.C. in anticipation of President Trump delivering the disclosure speech. Lee notes that these movements align with the pattern his sources had previously outlined. While Lee has recently stepped back from active involvement in official disclosure efforts, citing concerns that any public announcement may be a watered-down version influenced by private contractors, reverse engineering recovered materials, he maintains that a formal statement from the president remains highly likely. I still believe the speech is coming, Lee said. Whether it delivers the full truth or a carefully managed version, the fact that it appears to be happening imminently is significant. The next 48 hours will be critical. Lee continues to emphasize the true understanding of the phenomena goes beyond any single government announcement. His current research focuses on consciousness, quantum physics, and the possibility that UFOs and paranormal events function as deliberate signals within a larger simulation or construct. Nevertheless, Lee acknowledges that the potential historical importance of the forthcoming speech. If the president does address the nation on this subject in the next 2 days, it will mark a major moment, even if it is only the beginning of a much deeper conversation about the nature of reality itself. So he put that out about 10 hours ago. Then, shortly after that, George Knapp from KLAS Channel 8 in Las Vegas releases a 1 hour long mano a mano interview with Robert Bigelow from Bigelow Aerospace, the same Robert Bigelow who got money from the $22 million that was secured by Harry Reid, his friend, to look into this subject back, let's go back about 2007. The same Robert Bigelow who used to own Skinwalker Ranch, the same Robert Bigelow that went on 60 Minutes and said, you don't need to go to space to see UFOs. They're already here. And the journalist never followed up with that. Go figure. Okay. Here's the big thing. We're now learning, Christian, that Robert Bigelow back in February had a 75-minute speech with our good friend, the President of the United States, because he's everybody's friend. You know that. He's the best friend ever. He really is. But they are friends. And he met with them and talked UFOs, alien life, and disclosure for an hour and 15 minutes. Christian, what do you think?
What, Dave, the problem is, what don't you think? I mean, first of all, here's my question is, why would they bother having a meeting about this if something wasn't going on? I mean, we're dealing with, Robert Bigelow, as you know, he's kind of a hero of mine. I love the guy. I think he's awesome. I love the way he just handles business. But I mean, if he's going in to talk to the president, the most powerful man on the planet, about disclosing UFOs, and it wasn't just that, he was starting to talk about technology, reverse engineering, alien life that he thinks is already here. I mean, there was 7 different topics he was going to cover, and I'm just aghast that this is actually being disclosed, and the fact that then he goes on and talks with George Knapp. I love George Knapp's one of my favorites. I love that guy. He's just awesome. But the fact that the both of them got together and they did this hour podcast, and I was watching it when you called me. I was watching this thing. It's fascinating. It's one of these things you're gonna have to watch like 3 or 4 times. But it's fascinating because they're just giving all this. They're talking about everything like it's already been disclosed, and I'm just wondering how much of that's really going to come to fruition. Whether or not this is going to happen in 48, I don't buy it. I just, how many times have we heard this? Within 2 days, within 48 hours, in this month, within this year. It's one of these things we keep hearing that we're going to get this disclosure, but it never happens. I would love to see that happen, and I think Trump's the guy to do it if he really gets the information. But when I watched that, I kind of got the interpretation, from Bigelow, that he just didn't seem too thrilled or too heavily motivated about this. I don't know. Did you watch that part? Did you see what I'm talking about?
Yes, I did.
I mean, am I reading that right, or because he made a point of saying there are other things going on. It was just a little strange, because I figured you've got one of the world's most brilliant men in there talking about complete alien disclosure and things that he's already talked about publicly, and guys kind of paying him no mind. I mean, that's kind of what I got out of it. But then again, I guess he's got a lot going on.
Christian MacLeod is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. We call him the Cryptid Gee around here. Now, here's one of the things where it got a little bit interesting. Bigelow basically said, like a minute and a half into this interview, he said that it's time for the president to say something.
Mm-hmm.
And to give confirmation that there is something more on this planet that we do not know about, that there is a presence on this planet that may be able to fly some sort of interstellar craft, and they've been here a long time. Confirmation, not disclosure. Confirmation. And the reason why
that was weird he said that. I thought that was weird too.
Well, I'm going to, for the rest of the UFO world here and my audience, for the last 9 years, I have been very loud about the fact that we are not in a disclosure movement. We are in a confirmation movement. I had somebody very important call me today and give me this news that this was going on. And I want to say publicly thank you to Nicole Sackich for that. Great UFO researcher. And she goes, once again, SOR is right. You are right. This isn't about disclosure. This is about confirming that there is a phenomena that exists on this planet and can fly out interstellarly. That's going by Bigelow's word. Has nothing to do with disclosure. Disclosure is a different game whatsoever. But for the longest time, I have been said, and I'm going to pat myself on the back here because, darn it, I deserve it. I'm not an egotistical guy. Anybody who knows me knows that I am not egotistical, but this time I am taking it. I have told my audience for years that disclosure is just a word. They're going to confirm it because they can hide things in confirmation. They can play dumb in confirmation. And they don't have to disclose their juicy secrets that we want. Whether it's Eisenhower meeting with aliens, trading humans for technology, whether it's the Holloman Air Force Base video, whether it's the fact that there was UFOs at Area 51 or Wright-Patterson, what happened at Roswell, what happened in Phoenix. And by the way, Bigelow did bring up the Phoenix Lights in his conversation. Yeah. Okay. But finally, I feel convicted today. Convicted in a good way that I was right.
Well, and you were technically right, and that's the best kind of right.
Yes.
And
Yes.
if we're going to go walk down this path, the last time we discussed this, I said this is exactly what's going to happen. They said, we're not going to, it'll be some statement made. They're never going to give the total disclosure. They will confirm certain things. I mean, we basically said the same thing. And I think Robin even agreed with us on that one, which was strange.
Well,
But,
the thing about it is, Christian, I have taken a lot of heat.
oh, I know.
Okay. I have taken a lot of heat over the years because of my stance on disclosure versus confirmation. And to have somebody as important as Nicole Sackage to me call me up and say, have you seen this? Because I had, and it couldn't have come at a better time. Literally, I had a horrible day at my daytime job. Horrible. Okay. And literally, I'm 3 minutes out of the office, walking to my vehicle to drive home. And I get a phone call. And she goes, have you seen this? And she just said, Dave, once again, everything you said was right. Everything you said was right. Confirmation. It is about confirmation. And Robert Bigelow, not me, Robert Bigelow, billionaire extraordinaire, who's worked this topic for decades, said this is about confirmation.
Yeah, I'd say he's probably one of the number one authorities on the planet about this stuff. Guy's got his own space station. What does that tell you?
Well, here's the other thing too. We have to remember, he's been silent a long time.
He disappeared. I even have a sign for a topic I was doing. It says, "Where's Robert Bigelow?" It's actually really right behind me on the board because he vanished. And I just thought he was disgusted with the way everything was going, and maybe he went to his spaceship. I don't know. But then the next thing I find out, he's having a 75-minute sit down with the president, talking about giving up disclosure, and it's crazy. And the stuff he brought up stuff that I didn't think. One of the topics, and God bless George Knapp, because he's right in there. He's asking like real questions. Like the first thing he says, well, can you tell us what the president said? And he goes, no. but that's what I wanted to know. What did the president say about it? But he can't discuss that. He's got top secret. He still has top secret clearance. So he can't disclose what was discussed in the White House.
I'm going to say this.
I thought that was kind of cool. But he starts talking about the Roswell pilot and how the pilot, he starts naming, I didn't write his name down. I should have. But he starts talking about him. And he starts talking about all the flight, all the trips he took to write Pat with all the debris. This is just boom, boom, boom. And he's talking about it like it's fact. So, what does that tell you?
I agree.
I
absolutely agree. And, shout out to George Knapp, because I know he sometimes listens to this show.
I think he's awesome.
And George,
he's
George, cool. If you're listening, I'm actually going to put a ball cap on here. And there's a reason for that. I'm going to give you a tip of the cap for that interview with Robert Bigelow. That was as pro can be in our field of journalism. And once again, just when you think George is, being silent, being, just not really making his voice heard, he just comes in and bam, and he hits the nail on the head with the power of Zeus, man.
Yeah, he's just
serious.
Well, here's the thing about him that I always thought was cool. Joshua P. Warren, he works with, they work together on Coast to Coast, and I've spoken to George Norrie and Tom Danheiser. I've never met Knapp, but I've always spoken. I've always wanted to meet him, and they've all said he's as cool as they come. The way he's on TV, he's the nicest, most professional. He's a class act, I just think it's really cool that we've got, of all people, he's going to be the one that's going to go down in history for this too, because this is historic. This is historic because you basically have Robert Bigelow saying, "I talked to the president. I know all this is real. I told him that he needs to just come out and confirm it or give something." And, now we're talking about within 48 hours, there's going to be a speech. I don't know if that's going to happen. I doubt it. But just to have the fact that you have someone the caliber of Bigelow going down and talking to Trump about this, that's just unbelievable. To me, that's probably the biggest stride we've had in 25, 30 years in the community.
Christian MacLeod is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. We're talking about this power interview by legendary journalist George Knapp with billionaire Robert Bigelow, who used to own Skinwalker Ranch, who got a lot of millions to look into this subject from Harry Reid and the United States government back in 2007. And I want to get into this a little bit more because I think it's very important for us to cover this subject. I think this really shows that Bigelow hasn't been silent. For years, we've wondered, after he sold Skinwalker Ranch, what was he doing? And then, a number of years ago, he put together a contest, a research contest, where you could write in to try and figure out the mystery of near-death experiences, what happens after you die. Okay. And I believe it was Jeffrey Mishlove who won that, who's been a former guest on this show. I think it was like $100,000 or something like that he put up of his own money. But Bigelow has been very silent since about 2018.
Well, after he did 60 Minutes, he kind of vanished.
Yes.
Because he goes on 60 Minutes and tells the planet, oh, aliens live here. You probably run into them. They're here, and then you just don't notice them. And that's coming from someone. That guy's former military. He's still got top secret clearance. So what does he know that we don't? A lot. So if he's saying that, and then he vanished. That was when he vanished after that. And I think you're right. I don't think he vanished. I think he said, okay, the only way to get this done is to put as much information together as possible, and then we'll go, and see if we can talk to some of the higher ups. Because he was talking about how he was talking to the head of the Air Force of Belgium about disclosure and all this other stuff. The thing that I really thought was strange, though, was when he talks about we're not spiritual enough yet to have full. I don't know what he was going on with that about. That I thought was a little strange.
Well, Bigelow is a very spiritualistic person.
Well, I got that.
I saw that too. And my take on that was, I think he was saying that we're more used to praying to a phone than being in touch with our own consciousness. Our phone is our consciousness now. It saves our dates, it plays our music, it plays our videos, it connects us to the world, it connects us to our friends. We can chat, we can text, we can video. Okay. And I think that's what he meant by that, is that we've lost contact with who we are spiritually. I think that's where he was going.
I just, like I said, when we start bringing up the spiritualist, and then he automatically starts to go right from there. He goes into what the physical appearance of aliens is going to look like. It's, they're not all human. It's like he basically says, well, they don't look like humans. And are we going to be ready for that? That's what I thought was interesting. So, I mean, that again, I'm like you. I've seen the 7 different types of aliens. You got the Nordics, you got the Draconians, all this. I mean, but they all pretty much look, human in some way, shape, or form. So, I mean, what's he prepping us for? Are they going to look like, energy masses, blobs? I mean, what? We don't know. That's the thing. So I'm just curious to see what comes of that too. Because I think when they, even if they don't, disclosures, it's such a vague word too, because they're not going to disclose everything. You're right. They're going to keep their secrets. I think they're just going to confirm some things. But what's the point of confirming anything if you're not willing to just say, okay, here's what we got? I understand they won't do that. But, I mean, at least give us something more than, okay, we're not alone.
Well, it was about time, don't you think?
Well, yeah, but I mean, and I can understand, I see where you're talking about the cell phone thing, because, I mean, mine's right here too. But, I was wondering if Bigelow was talking about maybe spiritually, like, is this going to affect religion? I mean, how's this going to affect, certain people in the way they think? I mean, is that going to be an issue, or are we going to be above that? And
well, I think it's everything, buddy. I think it's absolutely
this is huge. This could be the biggest, news of the millennia. I mean, that's possible. But how much are they going to give us?
Christian MacLeod, the Cryptid guy, is here on Spaced Out Radio. He's from the American Cryptid and Paranormal Society, based out of Asheville, North Carolina. Why is that important? Well, they got great minor league baseball there. They really do.
We got the Taurus.
More of Robert Bigelow on Spaced Out Radio right after this. All right, we're clear.
I got a piece of the Taurus Stadium right there for the sections. It's hanging on my wall.
Give me 2 seconds here.
No problem.
Trying to hit my keyword limit here. I'm 1 letter out. Oh, there we go. All right. Let's see. Who have I missed here? Let's see here. Jody Genealogy, welcome to SOR chat. Let's see. Eloise Richardson, thanks for coming on in. The interview with George Knapp happened on Sunday and was just released earlier today. Area 51, you're at a 10 right now. You're at a level 10. I need you to bring it down to about a 3.5 to 4. You don't mind, buddy. A 3.5 to 4. I'd appreciate that. I'm just skimming through the chat room and kind of go from there. All right. Bring it on down. Bring it on down. Nobody's hurt. Nobody's getting their nuts flicked. And that hurts.
That does hurt.
That does hurt. Hi, beautiful and talented Kira. How are you? What are we eating for dinner, Kira? We need to know. We need to know. Hi, Linda. How are you? We got about 3 minutes here, buddy. 3 minutes. 3 minutes. Mm-hmm. 3 minutes. Dude, there's so much. We could probably fill the 2 hours over this. You know that. By the way, we just want to remind all of you. Hi, Dr. Bob. Hold on. Let me get to it. Stop being impatient, people. Stop being impatient. All right? Just stop. For 1 minute, just stop. Chew your food. Okay? Have a sip gently. And let me just find it here because I'm speaking before I'm talking. Just slow down, people. Slow down. All right. Let's see. Where is it here? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Finding it. I'm finding it. Oh, God. Running out of time. Running out of time. Running out of time. There it is. There it is. All right. You could go right now while you're waiting for me. You could go right now to spacedoutradio.com and get your Team Stump t-shirt right there. An assortment of colors. Okay. assortment of colors. It looks good. You'll look good. Okay. Everybody will look good.
Bless
Team
you.
Stump. You notice there's no Team Rock shirt because I decided not to. Because there's only one and only Team Stump. Excuse me.
Bless you again.
Thank you.
Well,
So go get your Team Stump t-shirt at spacedoutradio.com. Celebrate Devil's Tower, the tree stump du jour. Here we go in 10 seconds. Thank you, T-Bone. Thank you, Dutch Hank. Thank you, Pam Harris. And here we go. Here we go with the second half hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Cryptid guy Christian MacLeod is here. We're talking about this interview with billionaire mogul Robert Bigelow, who's very much into the UFO scene, disappeared for a while, and now we find out he briefed President Trump. Thank you to George Knapp from KLAS Television for a 1 hour exclusive interview with Bigelow. On that, we're breaking it on down. Christian, welcome back.
thank you.
All right, let's get right to it, my friend. All right, here we go. During the 75-minute meeting, Bigelow actually suggested to President Trump that while he's flying on Air Force One or just getting on Air Force One, go up to the press, because the press literally get to fly on Air Force One as well. That's their job. And say this, tell the world, a non-human intelligent presence has been on Earth for a very long time, using spacecraft and with performances completely beyond our capabilities and our human physics, and then walk away. That's what Bigelow told President Trump to say. What do you think about that?
I mean, if you want to cause a panic, I mean, I love the way he's calling it non-human intelligence. It's like we're not even saying aliens anymore. You know, it's like that's already been indoctrinated. So now we're just at the point where we're just waiting for the confirmation. But I mean, how cool would that be? I mean, he said, get on Air Force One and then shut the door, take off. I mean, what do you say something like that? I think it'd be cool. I don't think Trump's kind of got to do that though. I think he's going to have a Q&A, and he'll probably bring some people that would, have a better ability to answer questions. But I don't know. I think if he's going to do it, I think he wants more. He's a showman deep down. Let's be honest. So he's going to want the glitz and the glamour. So plus he's going to want to go down as the president who gave everyone the okay on aliens and them being here on the planet. So I mean, I totally think he'd do it, but I just think it's going to have to be in the right circumstances, and I don't think it's going to be a quick thing. I think it's going to be I think he'll have Elon there. I think he'll have Bigelow there. I think he'll have a bunch of people there that'll probably already in the know, and just kind of sit there and go nod their head the whole time he's talking. Can't hear you, Dave. I'm sorry.
According to Bigelow, it's a clear, concise statement that really needs no further explanation. It opens the door to confirmation as the president is confirming, not disclosing, confirming that there is some sort of presence that is on this planet. And basically, then he plays the Sergeant Schultz, nothing to see here. I know nothing. Right?
But can you really do that after saying that?
Sure you can.
Yeah, I mean, that's like dropping the... I mean, oh yeah, there's non-human intelligent life. They haven't really shared their tech with us. By the way, they kidnap, 100,000 human beings a year, experiment on them, and there's nothing we can do. Everything Philip J. Corso said in his book, The Day After Roswell, that's 100% true, because everything I've heard so far from Bigelow is pretty much pointing the way that Philip Corso, much like you, was right. So what are we going to do with this information? I mean, the confirmation is great, but what are you confirming? You know, how much are you gonna let out of the gate there? You know, if you do that and you still give no information, you know, what is that really going to do? You're going to have to back it. You can't just, you're going to have to back it with something. You're going to have to give up something.
Here's the thing, though. If you look at the other side of the ledger, it allows the U.S. government to get through this without giving secrets away.
You don't have to give secrets away, Dave, but you're going to have to give them something. You can't give the planet nothing. You can't go up and say, okay, non-human intelligence, yeah, they're here. First of all, you could start a panic because people are going to think, oh, great. And then don't forget the lunatic fringe out there. Then you got the
conspiracy. By the way,
you and I both know how far some of these conspiracy theorists go, how they can go nuts, and they could just be waiting for something like that. I mean, that could that could start a whole whirlwind of stuff we don't want to happen. You know, you get the doomsday cults out there and the doomsday people. This is all the sign they're waiting for. You're going to have to give them something. You're going to have to give some kind of picture of a craft, an alien, maybe even, you know, give some intel. I don't think if he just gets up there and says there's non-human intelligence is on the planet, the end. What does that do? That causes it. That's going to cause more problems than anything.
It could. You're very right.
I don't give humanity the credit of being calm. It's not going to happen. People are going to freak.
Well,
I think that's why they don't do. I think that's exactly why. I think someone's telling Trump, listen, excuse me.
You okay there?
People are going to freak out. There could be issues.
Christian MacLeod is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. You know, in looking at this conversation, Christian, you know, we basically, Bigelow stated that he focused on Trump and how to prepare himself if he's not already prepared to give the speech. And the other thing that is coinciding with that is there is allegedly in 48 hours a meeting of top officials. Nobody knows what it's about. Nobody knows where it is. It's just happening with many in the UFO field. And I'm not saying people like you or me, but people within the government community that are going to this. A couple of journalists are heading on over, including Christopher Sharp from the Liberation Times, who is preparing a flight right now to Washington, D.C. So this could get very interesting over the next little bit. What do you think? Christian, what do you think? Christian's having some technical issues right now, but here's the public point of this. Do you think that if the president came out and said exactly those words, and let me repeat them. A non-human intelligent presence has been on Earth for a very long time, using spacecraft with performances completely beyond our capabilities and our human physics. How much of a dynamic does this open up the conversation, in your opinion? How much does it push? Right? How much does this push you to the limit trying to figure out what is going on? If all of a sudden President Trump said that in front of the media and then walked away, not taking any questions. Would it scare you? Would it put you in a state of disbelief? Would it change anything that you do? There's a lot of people who will say this doesn't change anything. Don't care. The universe is huge. The main cliche answer for this is going to be that the universe is big. There's no way we could be the only ones here. And that's what it'll be. But you're right. Christian was right when he stated that there are going to be a number of people within the lunatic fringe that are going to take this very, very seriously. Whether they're religious zealots, whether they are just people suffering from depression, anxiety, anger, fear. Don't forget, fear is a very big controller of what humans do. We've seen that in the past. Okay? We've seen it. Fear mongering can move people to do things that they normally would never, ever do. And that's where it could get a little bit sticky for many of us. Christian, are you there with us? No.
And I don't know what happened. We had a power fluctuation. The internet's out. My computer went down, and my phone is barely working. So I guess no one wanted me to answer that question.
Well, basically, I reread the statement by Robert Bigelow, which he suggested President Trump should do. But let's talk about this for a minute, because you brought up an interesting point about the minority in this, the lunatic fringe that, really has an adverse reaction to anything fearful. And there are people who get scared, and they don't really control what they do in those times of fear, Christian.
Yeah, I agree. You could. I mean, honestly, let's take this to the next level. You could have riots. I mean, you could have some casualties. There could be some issues, and I know this is going to sound crazy, but there are a lot of doomsday cults out there that are waiting for something like this so they can pull their shenanigans. I mean, I've been actually, that was the topic for next month. Doomsday cults, and unfortunately, reading all the information about them, they're very active, and they've got a lot of members, and this could be a green light for them. So my point is, if you're going to give disclosure, give something with it. Give some kind of okay, here's a picture of someone or something. This is a ship. Here's an alien. There's a technology they're going to give us. They're going to help fix cancer. Or something. There's got to be something we have, some kind of negotiation we've got with them. So you just can't go out there and say, oh, yeah, we've got non-human intellectual life here, but, they're not doing anything for us. Because then you're going to get the other people saying, well, why are they here then? The pro-earthers, why do we have anyone else on our planet but us? This is our planet. They don't, what are they doing here? What are they doing for us? So, I mean, it's a slippery slope. It really is if you start thinking about it.
You're very right on that. You're very right. As we're speaking with Christian MacLeod on Spaced Out Radio tonight, let's look at another piece here where Bigelow says, he was asked a question by Knapp. Bigelow says a presidential aide cleared off on the Resolute desk. Bigelow plopped down 7 reports on 7 subjects and jumped right into UFO disclosure. Bigelow says, I was emphasizing that the disclosure process, starting with confirmation, is a big deal. That's really important for somebody like the President of the United States to say, yeah, they're real. They're here. And eliminate all the other nonsense, all the noise that has been going on for 80 years. Knapp follows up saying, you go into it with an idea of not just things in the sky floating around, some mystery. We've got the goods. Somewhere there are crashes. Do you tell them that there are bodies, that there are crash retrieval vehicles of unknown origin, or how specific do you get on that? Bigelow followed up and stated, basically, I focused on him and how to prepare himself if he's not already prepared. The big question is, does Donald Trump even want to have this conversation? Because he's kind of played it off like it's not important in the past, Christian.
Again, it's one of these things where you have an issue that's life-changing to a lot of people, and if the timing's not right, then the timing's not right. I mean, that's kind of the way I think he's looking at it. I mean, we've got all the stuff going on in the Middle East. The stock market's been real. Like today, we were having one of the all-time highs in the stock market. It's just been weird. Everything's just weird. I think he's waiting for a neutral time to release his information, if indeed he's going to. But again, I have to say, it's going to be one of these things where I think, Trump's a showman. He's going to want the spectacle. He's going to want the big deal. He's going to want to go down as the, president who gave full disclosure about aliens, technology, and intelligent beings living on this planet that, no one else would touch. And then Bigelow talked a little bit about what other presidents knew about this, and he says he's pretty sure that Bush Sr. knew because he was head of CIA, and then maybe Nixon. So what does that do for all the theories and conspiracies we had about Eisenhower and the ETs and all this other stuff? So I mean, how's this all going to line up? That's what I want to know. I don't see this as being done in a sloppy manner. You know what I mean? He's going to want this organized. They're probably going to have a Bureau of Alien Affairs. I mean, there's going to have to be something, because there's going to have to be. You don't think Congress is going to want to know what the hell's going on, or the Senate? I mean, this isn't just dropping information on the general public. He's dropping information on the powers that be. The people that play with the money. I mean, what's stock market going to do? What's Apple going to do? What's Tesla going to do? What's SpaceX going to do when all this information comes out? Because if you think about it realistically, you know how you were picking up your cell phone earlier? All right. This is our technology. How far behind is it from what's going to come out now that the truth is coming out there? I mean, I think what we're going to have, he even said the technological booms, it's in a vertical line, but it's just going to keep going higher and higher and higher, because the technology, eventually we're going to just catch up with the people hanging out with us, whether or not they want to, it's just going to happen. So I just, I'm not sure.
Bigelow did suggest that the president should basically not listen to any politicians. They're part of the cover-up. And that if he really wanted to make himself special, come out with it. Get it over with. Right? Enough of this. Yeah. Enough of this. Stop listening to your other politicians. Just do it. Basically is the conversation.
Well, I mean, I don't even think it's a conversation. I think he's just giving him a pep talk. I mean, it kind of sounded like me. He's just telling him, and then asking him if he was prepped. Are you ready? I mean, what does that entail? I mean, is he ready or not? It doesn't matter. He's the president of the United States. He's got to be ready at the flash of the flash of a pan, man. He's got to be ready to go at all times. So I just think, again, this is Trump just backing off and waiting for the right time, because I think he wants a spectacle. I can see him doing something like this at the UN. I don't know about you, but I mean, if you're say you're Trump right now, how are you going to handle this? Because you're going to have people saying, yes, do it. And then you're going to have people saying, no, do it. And here's why you can't do it. Or just, even if you give confirmation, it doesn't matter what he does. It really doesn't. The second he says, yes, there's non-human intelligences on this planet. All right. And they've been here and they have spaceships and they can go warp drive. What's going to happen after that? You're going to have to answer all the questions. All right. Then the religious fanatics get in. Then the religion. So all this is going to be a mess. You can't just drop this on without having some kind of agency to answer the questions. Now, whether he's going to do that through the Space Force or he's going to appoint someone, I don't know. But you're going to have something. You can't just drop and go. It's not going to work.
Well, if people start seeing deceased livestock on the side of the roads, like in Close Encounters of the Third Kind, you're in the right place. Christian MacLeod is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. Bigelow said something very interesting, weird as per usual, but still absolutely, bone chilling if you think about it. We are a danger to other alien species. We are the Klingons. We are not in control of the UFO phenomena. He says to Knapp, if I could talk to Donald Trump again, I would get into the complexity of the relationship between us and them. Once we have gone down the path of disclosure, there are much more crystal clear videos out there. There are these people who are around something or somebody that's a holy cow, wow moment. This is one of the most incredible interviews in recent times, man. I mean, this really is when you look at it. I mean, making a statement like Robert Bigelow, I want to know, how do you know that? How do you know we are the danger to the aliens visiting here? That question needs to be asked.
Well, here's the other thing, I want to ask this question too. All right. And this is me, I guess this is the cowboy in me because, I am a red, white, and blue American, but who the hell invited them? Why are they here? What's their purpose? Are they taking our natural resources? Are they affecting the? I mean, because when you say you've got these alien intelligences, you're going to start having these people say, well, okay, well, what are they doing here? What do they want with us? Are they affecting the weather? Are they taking our natural resources? Are they going to be an issue? Do they not want us here? And yeah, I've been saying this for years, but humanity's not ready to go out and conquer space because we can't get along. We're a blight. How many times have you heard me say that? So I agree with Bigelow on that. They don't want us out there in the universe. We're not ready for it. All we do is destroy. We can't get along with ourselves. We've got here's a little point. If people think, oh, hey, yeah, we're ready for space travel or anything, I'm just going to say 2 words: the Middle East. All right, that's been going on for what, 3,000, 4,000 years. We can't clean that up. What makes you? I knew that was coming. What makes you think we're going to have anything different if we start launching into space? That was hilarious, Dave.
Christian MacLeod is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. We got about 3.5 minutes before we go to break at the top of the hour. But just think about that we are the Klingons. Now, I'm not a Star Trek guy, never have been, and I can honestly tell you I've never seen an episode. For as weird as I can be, I've never watched a Star Trek episode, nor do I plan to. I just don't. But I do know that the Klingons are bad. I do know that they are, a destructive species, much like us. I would like to know how we got that information. Was it from Skinwalker Ranch? Was it something else or someone else that gave that information? That's an important question to ask. It really is, Christian.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you're absolutely right. But for him to give the answer on that, he's going to have to spill the beans. How do we know he hasn't been up in space talking with these entities or these creatures or these aliens or whatever you want to call them? We don't. He was gone a long time, man. He was off the grid for quite a while. So Lord knows where he's been and what he's been doing, and what he's been talking to, or who he's been talking to. But I mean, if we're the Klingons, you're right. That's not good. All right. I mean, but that's accurate because that's how we act. So, I mean, there's just a lot to chew on this one. There's a lot to think about. And that's why I think they're taking their time. I don't think, they're actually being intelligent about this. Because, do you honestly think within 48 hours, or I tell you what, within 48 hours, if that guy makes a speech, if anyone makes a speech about that, gives any disclosure, have me on the next day and I'll apologize publicly to the planet because I thought that's crazy. But I'm telling you right now, it's just not going to happen. This is going to be a controlled atmosphere, a controlled event with, a panel of people that are going to be held accountable to the planet for answering these questions. And that's exactly what it's going to be. It's going to be the planet. It's not just the country. It's not just the United States. It's not just North America. It's the country. It's the planet that's going to have questions. And someone's going to have to answer them. And every press you think is bad now, you think the press is bad to him now. He does that little stunt that Bigelow's talking about, anytime he gives a news press or a brief, it's going to be, so what's going on with the aliens? It won't be about Benghazi. It won't be about aliens. It's what's going on with the aliens. Do you have a lightsaber? Can I get one?
Before we go to break in about a minute and a half here, George Knapp goes on to say, okay, yes, there is at least one speech that has been written for President Trump now. Whether he's read it or not, Knapp doesn't know. But if he gets in the mood, it should be sitting right there somewhere on his desk. This completely contradicts Ross Coulthart, who came out and said, no, there is no speech available. What's your thoughts on this, Christian?
I mean, if there's a speech or there's not a speech, it doesn't really matter because it's going to have to be presented again in a controlled environment where he can answer questions. I just don't see that. You can't get on national television to the world and say there are, aliens among us. They've got this tech, blah, blah, blah. Have a nice day. And it's not going to change your life a whole lot. So don't worry about it. That's the problem. You can't just have a open-ended session saying, okay, here it is. And you guys, God bless, good night. It's not, there's going to be questions going to have to be answered. Like, are they dangerous? Are they going to take us over? I mean, that's everyone's going to start thinking about safety.
Well, that's something we could get into and more as we wrap up hour number 1 of Spaced Out Radio with the Cryptid Gee, Christian MacLeod, here on the show. We're also going to get into a number of other topics, including a major UFO sighting in Ukraine. Another war zone, another UFO sighting. Theirs or ours? This is Spaced Out Radio with host Dave Scott. All right, buddy. We're just going to play a video. We're going to be back here in about... Oh, your video's back.
I don't know what the hell's going on because my phone wasn't even like... usually my phone works perfectly when I call you.
It's all right. Here we go.
Our merch is Bigfoot approved. We have t-shirts, we have mugs, we have hoodies, we have socks, we have hats, we have stickers, and so much more. Whatever you're looking for, we have you covered. Why just be a fan of the paranormal when you can buy Spaced Out Radio merch and look the part? Our merch ain't ugly, folks. Check out the Spaced Out Radio store. Find the link in the description below.
Lurking within the forested region of the 108-mile ranch, where the worlds of the normal and paranormal collide. CaribouCon is waiting for you, bringing together a panel of renowned experts in the paranormal, cryptid research, and UFO phenomena fields. Get ready for a spine-tingling weekend in the heart of British Columbia. Enjoy fascinating discussions, presentations, tours of local haunted areas, and skywatching. Learn from investigators, authors, and enthusiasts who explore everything from ghost hunting techniques to sightings of Sasquatch and beyond. Whether you're a seasoned paranormal researcher or just love a good spooky story, this is your chance to connect with fellow enthusiasts in one of BC's most mysterious areas. Tickets are on sale now. Grab yours before they're gone. Visit cariboucon.com for details, tickets, and updates.
Are you ready to dive into the weird and wonderful world of cryptids, cartoons, and chaos? Meet Dirty Filth, Spaced Out Radio's resident cartoonist and master of the mysterious. Every Saturday at 2 p.m. Pacific, join him live on the Spaced Out Radio YouTube channel for Cryptid Cartoons with Dirty Filth, a hilarious hour where he sketches bizarre beasts, shares mind-bending stories, and battles his mischievous cats. Whether you're a UFO enthusiast, paranormal fan, or just love quirky art, Dirty Filth filters the universe through his unique lens, creating cartoons that capture the strange, dark, and supernatural. Follow Dirty Filth on X at Filth1 or Facebook at Dear Filth for more filthy fun. Find his link in the description below.
Spaced Out Radio wants to hear from you. We love our community, and your voice truly matters. Drop a comment after every show and let us know what you thought. Agree with our guests? Tell us why. Disagree? We want to hear that too. We read every single comment. Jump into the live chat during the broadcast and be part of the conversation in real time. Got a killer topic idea? Your suggestions help shape the show. And if you want to take it even further, join our Patreon for bonus content and direct feedback opportunities with Dave and the team. This is your show as much as it is ours. Whether you're a longtime listener or brand new, we want your thoughts, your questions, and your ideas. and let's keep building this incredible community together. Spaced Out Radio, where the conversation never ends. What are you waiting for? We're listening.
With 5 explorable Gold Rush era buildings said to be home to spirits of a time forgotten, the 108-mile heritage site in the heart of BC's Caribou region offers a unique opportunity for thrill seekers and history buffs. For an evening of historical fun, step into our guided ghost tours, where spine-chilling stories of Gold Rush legends and unexplained encounters come alive. For those craving even more, inquire with us about conducting a hands-on paranormal investigation of your own. And if you're truly brave, book our haunted sleepovers. Spend the night at our B&B inside the McNeil House to truly experience this historical landmark and its ghostly secrets firsthand. For booking or inquiries, go to haunted108.com.
All right, there's the Gee. And thank you tonight to our super chatters, Mark, T-Bone, Dutch Hank, Pam, and JSCO. We really appreciate your love and support tonight, guys. Thank you very, very much. And yeah, this is going to be good. This next portion going to be very, very good. Yeah, bear with us. Bear with us. Here we go with the second hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. The Cryptid Gee, Christian MacLeod, is hanging out with us. And we are so happy to be broadcasting to you live here, all over the internet, all over the radio, and all over the world. Hi to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the Newswire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. And what do you got for us tonight, Clam? It is Kakanim. Kakanim is your password. Use it wisely, space travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Let's bring back Christian MacLeod. He is from the American Cryptid and Paranormal Society. He's also a member of MUFON in North Carolina. Christian, welcome back.
Thank you. It's great to be here, as always.
Just a couple of more thoughts on Robert Bigelow meeting with George Knapp, doing a 1 hour long podcast interview. And if you want to see it, and I highly suggest you should, go to YouTube, put in 8, the number 8, KLAS, and it'll pop right up. It really will. And
I also put it on my Facebook page. So if you go to American Cryptid Paranormal, it's the first thing that pops up.
Yeah, I put it on my personal page, Dave Scott on Space, on Facebook as well. If you want to check it on out after this show, not during, but after, of course, it's always after, you know. And this is just something that is just absolutely phenomenal. This conversation, because Bigelow was really, really dropping some heavy punches on this subject about his meeting with Donald Trump about disclosure. And basically he says, after confirming and having the president come out, that we should be asking the gatekeepers and others, one, how we can not destroy ourselves, and two, how can we best communicate with them? What do you think about that?
Well, when he said that, you know, I started thinking gatekeepers, and then I'm starting thinking, well, maybe, you know, the conspiracy guy, I mean, kicked in, but then it started making sense, because I think these are the people that really have all the information and that keep telling They're the ones that are saying, no, don't disclose, don't say anything, say nothing, act like it's crazy. We went through this in the Clinton administration, when he said he was going to find out what was going on with Area 51. What did we end up hearing? Remember? Crash test dummies. That's it. No thing in life, just crash test dummies. All right. So Bigelow made up this issue, or he said something else that made total sense that kind of correlates with this. He says, how do you go from 80 years of lies, to now we have to fess up and say, okay, here's what we got. And then, here's how we're going to have to handle this. So it all kind of amalgamates. I mean, I hate to keep saying it, but it's one of these things. Every time you ask or you ask a question, it has to be answered with the same answer. It has to be said, not only can we have to admit to this stuff, we have to explain why we said this stuff we said. We thought we were protecting everyone. And the truth of the matter is we weren't. And guess what? We still can't. And these guys are on the planet and they've been here for X amount of years. I don't even know what they're going to talk about. Are they going to talk about, underwater bases, underground bases? I mean, are they going to say these people are walking around with, holographic projectors that make them look human? I mean, there's got to be something. You're going to put, again, I hate to keep to say this, but the populace is going to panic because they're going to look at everyone and go, are you real? I mean, it could turn into one of those situations. So I just don't think he can do this without giving away some of the evidence. It just has to be done. You have to prove it.
I would agree with you on that.
Oh, and I also think, like what you said is, the thing that scared me is when Bigelow starts talking about, are we going to destroy ourselves? And then, I kind of got the feeling that he kind of already knew the answer to that. That kind of creeped me out a little bit. If you look at the way he said it, just the way he answered that question kind of freaked me out. So it's just one of these things where I just don't, and I'm usually all pro, let it all go out, let them all tell the world everything. But it's one of these cases, you can't just give them a little bit, you have to give them everything.
The other thing that I found very interesting about this, basically any revelations from technology, Bigelow doesn't think should be weaponized. He thinks it needs to start getting into the hands of humans to help humanity. I thought that was a very poignant moment.
Well, I thought it was cool too, but I mean, this is the guy who's already got the weapons. So, I guess that, maybe he's already got the lightsaber. I mean, listen, I'm all for unifying. I'm all for, if these entities, aliens, whatever you want to call them, are friendly, they really want to help humanity, then fine. You know what you do? We don't need weapons tech. You know what we need? We need health tech. How do we clean the planet? How do we make the water better? How do we get all the microplastics out of the ocean? How do we clean up the pollution? Let's get off fossil fuels. Get us on that track, and then everyone will fall in place because they'll realize you're here to help us. You don't give humanity, phasers. That's Star Trek for laser beams, or you don't give us weapons that are more dangerous than what we have now. We don't need that. We need other tech. So I agree with Bigelow on that. I think that's the right thing to do. I think that's how you ingratiate yourself to a population is, improve their health.
Let's move on. Interesting news coming out of Ukraine, where astronomers claim the moon may be a UFO base. A new paper from researchers at Ukraine's main astronomical observatory claims high-speed telescope footage captured more than 20 unidentified objects near and apparently moving across the moon. The authors divide them into two groups of stationary objects that flash in repeating patterns and larger disk or toroidal objects that appear to travel over the lunar surface. Some of the disc-shaped objects are said to measure between 25 and 40 kilometers across. The toroidal objects are estimated to be roughly 36 kilometers wide, moving at speeds up to 11 kilometers per second. The research also reported repeating brightness fluctuations and rotation patterns that they interpret as signs of structured technological behavior. The authors of the paper openly propose that the moon may serve as a base for UFOs, that such objects could reach Earth in around 20 minutes, and that what we call UAP may be Earth-side manifestation of the same phenomena. Notice UAP, considered man-made object there. These conclusions aren't established fact. The distance, size, and speed estimates depend heavily on the assumption that the objects were genuinely associated with the moon rather than foreground objects, atmospheric effects, or image processing artifacts. However, the raw footage and methodology deserve serious independent review because even if it's part of the analysis holds up, we need to know exactly what is moving there. What's your thoughts on this, Christian?
Well, I mean, it doesn't really surprise me. I mean, how many rumors about the dark side of the moon did we hear? Why did we leave the moon? What was it, earlier than we were supposed to be there? You know, then you've had all these rumors that, you know, the 20 minutes that the original mission went to the moon that went blank was because it was showing alien information and showing spaceships and space stations. So that really doesn't surprise me. What surprised me now is this all of a sudden we got this urge to go back to the moon. So if any of that's true, you know, what kind of issues is that going to bring? And if any of that is true, is that why the disclosure is such a big deal now? Because if you go to the moon and then we find out there's, you know, other non-human entities up there, is that going to be an issue? Are they going to want to share the moon? You know, it's pretty hard to claim the moon when you've got an advanced technology that says, no, this is ours, we've been here before, and it's going to stay ours. So I mean, that could be a potential issue right there.
Here's the one thing that bugs me about this report. There are videos. There's alleged videos, but of course, guess what? They haven't been released to the public.
Mm-hmm. I mean, but if they're finding stuff, Dave, if they're finding stuff 40, did you say 40 kilometers long?
Yeah, so 40 kilometers, about 25 miles long.
Yeah, that's we can't build something that big. I mean, that's massive. That's a zero gravity craft. You can't build something like that. It's too big. But that's the stuff that fascinates me. It's like, okay, I believe that stuff's up there. I really do. But what is the situation that's keeping them from just showing up and landing on the White House or the Kremlin?
Well,
or, you know,
if you blend that into what Bigelow says, that we are the Klingons, they may not want to come here, or they may watch when they come here.
But what are they? Okay, but Bigelow also says there's already aliens on the planet. So what are they doing here? What my question is what's their purpose? If that's true, all right, then what is their purpose here, and what do they want? All right, are we food? Are we fuel? Are we slaves? What are we going to be when this all breaks down? That's the question. All right, what's the end game of this? Okay, what happens when? I don't care if they're not going to tell us anything, and then they say, oh yeah, there's not human life, blah blah blah. Okay, but that's going to open the door. And then let's just say that takes them off and they come out pulling and say, okay, well, here's the deal now. You guys, this part of the plan is going to be this part's going to be this. And you guys are going to be making, rocket engines for our spaceships or anti-grav drive for our spaceships. And if you don't like it, then we'll kill you or eat you or something. I mean, that's a possibility too. We just don't know. That's why I think this is all such a cluster, because there's so much going on, but no one knows what the end result's going to be.
We've always suspected that there are bases on the moon. We've always suspected that they're on the dark side of the moon, you know, but we've also wondered whether or not humanity is on the moon as well with our own bases. And maybe that's the reason why we never went back. But there is also the rumor that after the Apollo missions, we were told not to come back. So once again, opens up another door to conspiracy theorists.
Yeah, I mean, do we have let's just say we were told not to come back. Let's just say that happened. So what the hell are we doing going back? You got China going back, you got India wanting to go, Japan wants to. I mean, that it's only a matter of time before someone launches and gets back up there. Now, is it going to be one of these things? Is it going to be like a Challenger when the ship takes off? It's not going to make it out of the atmosphere because that was our warning shot. I mean, it's one of these things you just don't know until you do it. So I think, until they tell us what's going on, people are still going to be of the mind that, they can do whatever they want. And, we can do what we ever want. We want, whenever we want, wherever we want. And that's kind of the mindset we have. So until someone, in the playground that's bigger and badder says, no, you can't do that, I think we're going to continue to do what we want to do. But that's going to open up. Like I said, Dave, my biggest thing is when you give up this information, this would be literally the most life-changing information the planet has ever gotten at this point in time. There's nothing bigger than this. This is it. This is the question whether or not we're alone in the world or the universe is going to be answered. The question is are we going to like the answer? I mean, think about it. That's the issue.
You're absolutely right on that. And like getting to the point that these things were traveling between 6 to 11 kilometers per second. So you're looking at, say, 11 kilometers is about 5 miles, 6 miles per second. That's fast.
That's ridiculous. That's it's crazy. But that's all but that's the technology difference. I would love to say that, hey, we haven't been screwing around for the last 25, 30 years. We've actually been taking our technology and looking towards the stars, and we've got a satellite base that floats around the world. I like the Marvel movies. I'd love to see, a battleship with 4 engines pop out and then, it stays in the air and blah, blah. But I just don't think that's realistic. And I don't think it's that we don't have the tech. I just don't think we've ever spent the money, and no one wants to spend the money on it. So that's the problem. And now there's going to be these issues. If all this is true, and you got a spacecraft 25 miles long and whatever wide, going 5 miles a second in the area of the moon, that to me that's an issue. That's a safety concern. Because
just so you know, 11 kilometers per second is traveling at 39,600 kilometers per hour, or 24,606 miles per hour. They would be in Earth's atmosphere in no time.
But again, we can't. What are we going to do? Nothing. Just a ship 25 miles long that's going basically, warp drive here. Imagine what their weaponry is.
Sorry, let me quickly make a correction here. That's 39,600 kilometers per second.
Yeah.
Not per hour. Per second. Yeah. So that's 24,606 miles per second.
And we're what, 2 million miles away from the moon?
I thought it was smaller than that. How far is Earth from the moon? And the moon is 238,855 miles.
So they can be here in about 10 minutes. It's a pizza delivery.
It is a pizza delivery. It'll get there faster than most pizzas.
So think about that. That's terrifying. One ship 25 miles long. I don't even think that could go in the atmosphere. That might actually disrupt the gravity. Something that big.
It could.
I don't know. I'm not a physicist, but I'm just saying something like that, depending on traffic. But that's just ridiculous. But again, here's my question, Dave. What's it doing here? What do they want? They're not here for no reason. They've got to want something.
Well, if you believe the tall whites of Las Vegas, they like to gamble and party.
Well, God bless them then. Let's make it a universal stop. I don't know, man. It's just one of these things where when you really start thinking about it, it's almost scary. Because it's like, what's the ramifications of this? Because once this door's open, you can never close it.
Well, I'm pretty sure there's probably a toll booth up there that they have to pay their $8 to cross into Earth's atmosphere. I'm pretty sure of that. And I'm pretty sure there's definitely going to be tariffs on the pollution that they cause. That's just my thinking. But I mean, look, if they are here and we have that technology, that's going to defy any type of physics we've seen on this planet. This is going to rearrange science faster than our scientists can even
Right,
add
but
this up.
that doesn't surprise me. I'm telling you what, the world shouldn't surprise anything, and here's why. When all our basic math and physics is based on something called theoretical, all right, when they put the word theoretical in front of the math, that means they don't know if it's true or not. So if aliens come down and say, okay, here's where you went wrong, blah, 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 that we should be waiting for, because it's obviously something wrong with our math that we can't, correspond to do things they can do by now. So, I mean, we've got AI, we've got supercomputers. You can't tell me we can't work something out, or we can't have some kind of space travel by now. I'm not buying it. So that's the other part of me that thinks that maybe we've got our own little fleet up there and they're keeping everyone in check. Or maybe we were actually able enough to, smart enough to, reverse engineer Roswell and come up with our own stuff. That's my hope. Whether it's true or not, I don't know.
I don't give us that much credit.
I don't either. I would like to, but when I think about it, it's like, no, we can't. Again, we can't even get our stuff together. Everything's an argument.
Very true.
Terrible.
Very true. Christian MacLeod is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. Christian, we got 3 minutes before we go to break at the bottom of the hour here. The big thing with this sighting is, where are these bases? And it reminds me of, you remember the Chinese rover a few years ago when it landed? One of the first pictures it took was what looked like a box-like structure on the moon. And then all of a sudden that story seemed to disappear very, very quickly. I'm wondering, and I've often wondered since then, what did they capture? What was that, a base? Was that a craft? Was it an optical illusion? And that ties into what we're talking about today now.
Well, here's the thing with the moon. A lot of people, or a lot of, I guess, scientists think the moon was part of the Earth and they got hit, and then we get sucked to our gravity. So technically, the Earth is made, or the moon is made of the same stuff that the Earth is, right? Let's just say that's true. Well, what if they're just harvesting the minerals and the frozen water on there, and maybe they've just tacked it out and we're next.
Do you think then that maybe these bases are a lot more obvious than what groups like NASA or even SpaceX show us?
I guarantee if they're there, they're underground, and NASA knows all about them. By now, we've had to have some, but all the satellites we have up there, I'm talking about USA, China, Russia, England, India, Japan, everyone. Someone's got to have some kind of picture about what's going on out there. Now, whether or not they're going to share it, I don't know, but there's got to be some kind of knowledge. I'll tell you what, I've got a buddy of mine that was pretty high up at NASA, and I've tried to get him to talk about this stuff. He won't say anything, okay, because he's still he can't say anything. But it would not surprise me if they've known for quite a while about that kind of certain stuff up there. But I just don't think they know what to do about it. And then if you read The Day After Roswell, Philip J. Corso, he says point blank, we can't compete with their technology. We just can't. There's nothing we can do. So that's why we've allowed them to do what they want, take people, do the experiments, because we can't stop them. To me, this is what I hate seeing is all kind of going kind of X-Files. You know what I'm saying? It's like this is all kind of turning into, we can't stop them unless we got something that'll stop them, on a biological way. They can do what they want until we come up with a weapon against them. And that's what, to me, it's starting to look like.
Christian, it is going to be interesting to see kind of where this goes. What we want to do is, in our next half hour, is open it up to audience questions. If you got to be in one of our chat rooms, either on YouTube, Facebook, or X, in order to kind of get that question in. And I want to get their opinion. I want to get their questions in about what we've talked about tonight, about Robert Bigelow, about disclosure, about confirmation. about absolutely everything, because this is an important topic. This is something that we need to discuss, because if the next 48 hours is going to be as lucrative as many are speculating, we could be in for a whole world changing experience by midweek. So,
And remember,
you know,
Dave, you were right. You were
I
right.
was right.
You were right.
Confirmation.
That's a new T-shirt. Dave was right. I'll wear it.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with your host, Dave Scott. Jeremy Jones, how you doing? What's happening there, Cryptid Gee?
I'll just read the side of the comments. Are we off? We're still on?
We're still on. We're on the
Oh.
podcast and YouTube side. You can wave at people.
Hi. Thanks for watching. Dave was right.
Dave
Make
was
a
totally
t-shirt.
right. Dave was totally right. You know how some people feel about that?
They're not happy.
Right? That's what it comes
You
down
had
to
to,
right there. You want
I
the
still
look
think
of
that'd be a good
disgust of
t-shirt.
everybody who is having to eat crow after what I said? Right there. What is that name? 730? I-730?
Hi to everyone in the chat. I know you guys are awesome. What a mug. Thank you. I still think that would make a good t-shirt, Dave. I'm sorry.
Hold on one second, because A.C.A.P.S is drinking Grandpa's licorice liqueur that's hidden in the medicine box right now. So earlier in the conversation, we had a hard time getting to the moon, and we're told not to go back, and now we have bases there. Which is it? What I hate seeing is pandering. No, this isn't pandering. In case you don't know, A.C.A.P, because I've noticed over the last week or so, your comments are becoming a little bit more aggressive towards what we do. And let me explain something to you, and I'm pointing this comment to you personally. Okay? This is a talk show. This is an entertainment show. Okay? This is just conversation about news and reports that are out there. What you do with it is your business. Completely your business. You are more than welcome to ask your questions, but to get all excited about it, man, just sit back and enjoy the woo, man. Okay, because the majority of our audience, believe it or not, is not on YouTube. They are not educated in this subject. They are sitting on the radio, maybe driving in their vehicle through Alabama into Georgia, or maybe driving from Mississauga up to Sudbury, or maybe it's in Bellingham going up to Vancouver, or maybe it's in wherever it may be. Okay. And what they are doing is they are listening for the entertainment purposes. And for you saying you are holding me accountable to what? I am a entertainment show on these subjects. I'm an entertainment show, allowing people to think diversely in what we do. No, Sudbury hasn't picked up the show yet. I just said that they're driving up there. And yes, how can you not be a Sudbury Blueberry Bulldog? That's right, Dr. Bob. That's right. Lisa Smith, how are you? Oh, look at this comment here, Christian. I would wear a shirt with that photo on it.
Thanks, Lisa. See, she's got taste.
All right. What are you trying to be? I don't cater to the audience, my friend. A.C.A.P.S. I don't. My job is to provide entertainment from these great subjects and conversation. If you want a hardcore podcast that is going to get into this, there's many others out there. Maybe this one isn't for you anymore. Maybe it is. We love having you here. Okay, we do. But you don't get to get all hyped out and play the aha caught you card in my chat room. My chat room is not a democracy. Never has been. LJ, how you doing? Thurston Howell III, how's Lovey? And here we go. Hi, Claudette.
So we got that going for us.
Here we go with the second half of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you very much for tuning us on in wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. We got Christian MacLeod, the Cryptid Gee, hanging on out with us as we have been talking UFOs all night long. Christian, you ready for some audience questions here?
I'm looking forward to it, my friend.
All right. We were just talking about this, T-Bone kicking things off. What do you think about these Ukrainian astronomers and the moon UFOs?
I think they're probably right. I mean, if they're getting these things and they can measure them at that size and speed, they're coming from somewhere. There's got to be something, especially if they're coming back and forth. So, I mean, I've always kind of thought the moon was something more than what we always, it was a more strategic point than what we give it credit for. But I don't know. I part of me want to say they've had bases up there for, years, decades, centuries, who knows, but it's totally possible. But I mean, they're definitely picking up something. I mean, they're not just, coming out and saying this and risking their reputations and all the reputations of the scientists work on these projects. So, I mean, it's got to be something.
I think it's got to be something too. And, there are so many different angles to this story and angles to what people are finding. I mean, realistically, without us having any video evidence of this that has not been released, that kind of bugs me. Okay, we don't know what they saw. I mean, could they have seen satellites that were maybe moving at a high rate of speed? Were they seeing space junk? Maybe space rock or something along those lines? But their calculations seem quite observant, if I'm saying that properly.
No, you're right. I'm with you. There's got to be something. They've found something. Something out there is 25 miles long, doing 39,000 kilometers a second. That just doesn't blip up. I mean, that's not a hair on the camera. That's something substantial. And they've obviously been able to see it more than once. So it's got to be something. These guys like that I don't think they make mistakes. These people are brilliant. These are astronomers. These guys they're brilliant. And they're very, scientific method. They're not going to say something unless they can, kind of prove it. I'm willing to bet there's pictures to go along with it too, but it's like you just said, we probably won't see those.
Next question comes from Moodens Mongol. Christian, when you appear on SOR, do you find yourself intimidated by Dave's pure bearded manliness?
Oh, definitely. There's no doubt about it. So that's why I'm kind of a little nervous. So I have a Guinness or something just so I can, bypass that. Dave is what's called an alpha male. For those of you who've never met him in person, it's very humbling, because what happens is no matter where you are, women just flock to Dave. He's been reported as having a natural scent that kind of smells like Taco Bell sauce, but women love it. And, they come, they buy him drinks. They ask him to do things to them in public, in front of people. It's kind of embarrassing because, you're sitting there and absolutely no attention, but, you get used to it. But, I do think it is the beard. I've known him with the beard and without the beard. And I think the beard's probably, it's definitely more, alpha.
Oh my God. Oh my God. You are embarrassing. You are absolutely embarrassing.
It's true.
Do you think that the UAPs and UFOs could be linked to direct energy weapons and forest fires?
I mean, actually, that's not too far out of the possibility, Oregon Bigfoot. But if they are energy weapons, I mean, I think their energy weapons would be on the ship. They have that kind of technology. So I think the UFOs, UAPs, could be, the location of the energy weapons. Does that make sense? Am I saying that right? The weapons are on the ships. That's what I think. Could they have forest fire? Could they? Yeah. I mean, I don't know why, but I mean, could they? Yeah, sure. It's possible. Anything's possible. And you know what? There's so many questions that this arises on what happens on the planet, what's going on the Earth. We just don't know. So is that a realm possibility? Of course it's possible. It's a good question.
It's a good question. I have a different look at the forest fires because I'm literally in the middle of them right now. And there was one that sparked up about 8-9 miles from me, right? No, not even. Maybe 7 miles from me, east of me right now. And that they've got that one under control. It's still small. I think they got that one out pretty quick. We're almost out. But I refuse to call them forest fires anymore. I call them bureaucracy fires. Example, fire burning up on the hill east of me, 7 miles from here. You know who wasn't called out to that? Our fire department. I was watching them right behind my house training today. Doing their Tuesday night volunteer firefighter training. Guess where they were not with their 5 trucks? At the potential forest fire from getting bigger. Sure, they have forest fire people there. Yes, they dropped a couple of buckets of water from a helicopter on there. Great. Okay. But when things are burning, it's amazing how many bureaucrats tell firefighters to stand down, tell loggers to stand down, tell everybody to stand down. Look at the facts. It's incredible. Big fires have become big business and big bureaucracy. Take the time to look into it. It is disgusting. It really is. And I could go off on a major rant on this. I really could, but I'm going to keep it right there. Lex Diaz is asking, disclosure needs to happen yesterday because all the bad things that happen because of disclosure are going to happen anyways. Aren't we doing more damage by keeping this a secret? Rip off that Band-Aid, he says.
He's right. I mean, that's, was it Lex Diaz? Lex, you're right. It needs to happen yesterday, but I think you got to look at it a different way. You got to look at this from the top down. And when I say that, I hate saying this, but you got to look at the way the government looks at something. The government's looking at things from the top down. They're looking, how's this going to affect economics, safety, religious principles, laws? What's going to happen? We're going to have riots. What's going to happen when all this comes out? And whether or not it comes out in a peaceful way, which is what I think they're trying to do, if they're going to give disclosure, is do it in a peaceful way, where everyone kind of gets together and they drop the bomb on everyone at the same time. I think that's what they're waiting for. But again, it's just one of these places you just don't know. And they need to rip it off. I'm with you 100%. But if it's being more damaged and keeping this a secret, I can't say yes or no to that because they've been doing it to us for 80 years or longer, so it's kind of saying it's going to do more damage. I think that's their play. They want to do less damage. So that's what they're doing. They just keep doing what they're doing and they think that's going to work. But the information's just out there. It's just too much out there now. And when you get a guy like Robert Bigelow going on a show with, George Knapp, I don't think you guys realize how significant that is. I mean, George Knapp is basically, he's like the man when it comes to this kind of stuff. He's got a huge following. He's got, shows on Amazon. I mean, just countless things. And his reputation is just impeccable. So when he goes on and goes to the lengths they went to put this video together, this is a big deal. I mean, this is like the starting of the, new disclosure or the new information. Whether or not 48 hours they do a press conference or not really doesn't matter, because what they've done now is they've started the flame. They started the fire under everyone's butt, and now everyone's going to want to talk about this. That's not going to go away. You're going to see that's going to hit millions and millions and millions of views. The fact that it wasn't advertised even tells me they just wanted to put it out there to see what was going to happen. And I think exactly what is going to happen is that's going to be a catalyst for a movement that people want, all the information. I think a lot of people don't want to know because they're comfortable in their lives. And when you go and pop this kind of cork out on someone, it disrupts it for everyone. Guys like me and, King Beard over here, this is what we do for a living. This is what we're used to, this kind of stuff. This is normal for us. But a lot of people don't think this kind of thing's normal, and, they could freak out. And unfortunately, I'm with you. That just needs to happen. And I think things are going to happen anyway, but definitely it's just, I think the government or the people that are trying to run the show, or the powers that be, or the gatekeepers, they're just waiting for the right time. And unfortunately, I think the right time is now. They just have to be honest and tell everyone everything. Really good question.
I think it was a great question too. I think it isn't so much about protecting. This is another one of my conspiracy theories here. I don't think it's so much about protecting the aliens or disclosure or anything like that. There's two very big variables on this, in my opinion. Number one, how is the public going to react? We did not treat each other very well during the last pandemic. We really did not. Okay. Look at grocery stores. There was never a toilet paper shortage, and yet everybody was hoarding toilet paper. And people were going to the supermarket buying 10 gallons of milk. What are you going to drink? Who drinks 10 gallons of milk in a week or two? Because you're only good for a week or two. Nobody, unless you have a giant family or a very strange addiction and like eat a lot of cereal. Okay. But the other thing too was meat. Okay. People ripping meat out of the buggies of others. It was like shades of what Black Friday used to be. The good old days of Black Friday. And by God, 2026, we're 5.5 months away or less than that from Black Friday. America, we got to start preparing to do it right again, because it's been disappointing the last few years. Okay. Get offline, go down to your store, tape up your knuckles with tin foil. Okay. Bring a barbed wire covered baseball bat, and let's get some Black Friday action going. Let's really do that this year. We could do it properly, America. I have faith in you. But nonetheless, as I get back away online from that severe tangent there, the other thing is that I believe that they are trying to hide. It's nothing to do with aliens. It has everything to do with their own technologies. If it is believed, Michael Schratt says he believes Lockheed Martin and some of these companies are anywhere from 50 to 150 years ahead of what we see technologically right now. If that is to be believed, that's what they are trying to cover, because that's where all the black budget money goes. All those missing trillions of dollars every year from your budget that they can't seem to find. $40,000 for a hammer, $20 million for a fridge on Air Force One.
But they kept the milk cold.
Yeah, they kept the rum cold. That's right. But nonetheless, I think there's a lot more secrets that they're trying to hide than just aliens and disclosure. That is one of them, but I think their own secrets are more important. Your thoughts, Christian?
I mean, I gotta be honest with you. That's Dave. That's brilliant because I never thought of that. I've always, and again, this is where it's so fascinating because what they've done to themselves, they've kind of compartmentalized uh, this whole issue with, oh, this is something for NASA to deal with, so they can always blame someone else. But when they start talking about their own technology, you're absolutely right. Because if let's just say we do have spaceships and we are 150 years ahead of where we thought we are, where the hell did that come from? Who paid for that? You're right. That was a $40,000 hammer, $20,000 toilet seat. What is this? So we've had all this technology. So why aren't we seeing it? Why aren't we using this to help advance humankind? Why aren't we going out and taking this technology and using it instead of all this diesel and all this JP5, all the jet fuel? We've obviously got some kind of technology that doesn't need that kind of fuel source. So why aren't we using that instead of what we've got now? And it all boils down to money. If let's just say they're using. Remember when cold fusion came out in what was it, 87, 88? And it was on the cover of Time magazine. There was we have cold fusion, and then we made a mistake, we can't replicate it. It just vanished. Do you really think that didn't work?
Could be.
I'm convinced that we had it back then. So you've had another 40 years to deal with this stuff, or 35 years to deal with this stuff, and and apply it into our own tech today. With AI, I can't. The amount of technology and the advancements we make. It is, and even Bigelow made a point about saying that, there's no longer a downslope. Everything's always up. We're just getting smarter, or the technology is getting better and better. Doesn't mean we're getting better, but the technology is. So if we do have this stuff, that really wouldn't surprise me. But you're absolutely right, because if we have to fess up, and say, okay, yeah, well, we've been able to do this with our technology, and here's where we are, and oh, by the way, this ship costs, $1 trillion. They have to account for that. Where did the money come from? So you're right. I think they're right. I didn't think about it like that, but you're right. If they disclose, they have to, disclose everything. And then you're going to have the congressional looks, and then it's going to get political.
It always is.
That's
what it does. That's exactly what it does. So let's go to Miss Shelley here. In Australia, we are having these data centers put across the country using billions of liters of water. Could this be connected to aliens? Your thoughts, Christian?
Well, here's my thing. Is it possible? Of course it's possible. But why would they need, to use water? Was it just cooling them down? Is that what they use them for? They just cool them down because the electricity? I'm of the mind that they wouldn't have their technologies far superior, and they probably wouldn't have that issue. But data centers are everywhere. I just read that China's putting their data centers underwater so they don't have to keep them cold. They're actually just building them underwater. So that'll probably be the next thing. Because think of all the money you'll save by just doing it that way. And you're probably going to superheat the water and change the environment in that area if you have a lot of them. So it might be good or might be bad for the environment. Well, I don't know. So it's a myriad of things. It's one of these things where, if you open the door to that, it's like Pandora's box. You open it, all this other stuff comes flying out. But the data centers, to me, they're scary because they're fusion centers. That's what, after 9/11, they were actually called fusion centers. And now what it is, it's just, everyone's keeping everyone's correspondence, videos, emails, everything. And knowledge is power, and that's what I think they're using it for.
We got 5.5 minutes to go here. We haven't mentioned a simple thing on cryptids. So I'm going to give you a 5-minute update on what's happening in the cryptid world right now.
Well, there's been quite a few sightings of our old hairy friend Sasquatch in Ohio lately. I've been checking into that. The other thing that's been interesting is northern states. Boston, I don't know if you saw that. Boston had a couple of Bigfoot sightings that were kind of out of the blue. That's not normal for up in there, in that particular area. But again, my personal opinion on that is I think they're migrating. It's believe it or not, guys, I ain't saying it. Summer's about over. August, a couple weeks in August, and that's it. We're in September, and before you know it, it's going to get cold. So I think what they do is they start their migration process now. So in other words, in your area, your neck of the woods, if they're going to migrate, they're probably starting now to come down south, or if they're going to go up north, they're going to start their migration now. So I think that's why we're going to have more sightings. We always get more sightings in August. Usually, last year was more dogman than anything, and this year we've had a lot of Bigfoot sightings. But yeah, no, the cryptid sightings are, they're just as good as they always were. Specifically on the Appalachian Trail or right around there in the Appalachian Mountains. So we've been pretty busy. In fact, today, one of the reasons why I look so haggard is today we were setting up trail cams on a gentleman's property about 40 miles from us, and we were just out there a long time. It was a rough day, but it's just very interesting because this property, you could just look around and it just kind of felt like there was stuff looking back at you. You just had that feeling. So I'm anxious to see what'll happen with the pictures. Of course, I'll put those on the website, and you guys will be able to see it first. Because most people don't realize if you go to cryptidguide.com, my main link is right to Spaced Out Radio. So if you go to Spaced Out Radio, you should be able to link right to me to it. So it's there.
And
but,
by the way, there's a lovely picture of me sleeping.
Is that still up there?
Yes.
I gotta explain that to everyone. Dave had been on the road for 2 days, and the poor guy was exhausted. I think that was when there was some kind of problems, him getting there on time. I had to go up on stage for him. And while I'm up on stage talking, Dave comes in, and he might as well have been Elvis, because Dave walks in, and then the whole 400 people just turn around and start, oh, it's Dave there. And I might as well have been nothing. It doesn't matter. I'm used to it. But he walks in, and he's sitting at the front of the whole building. He's talking to Rob and some other people. And about 5 minutes later, he's sleeping. So that's where that picture came from.
I was dead tired, dude.
He was exhausted.
Oh, man.
The second he sat down, you could tell he was just deflated.
Oh, man. But the good news is, let's just be blunt. We got 2.5 minutes left. You have just booked your tickets.
Oh, I'm there. We're
to speak at Caribou Con. You're going to be speaking at Caribou Con September 18th through 20th, right here in the hometown of Spaced Out Radio, beautiful 108-mile ranch. You excited?
I'm looking forward to it. I'm working on. We've got, when we did our Bray Road investigation, we've been able to break down the video Christina took, and it's a good picture. It looks just like a dog man up in the tree. I think that's what it is. I just hate being the guy that draws the lines to attach everything, but I think I might do that. So I'll have that up there with us, and we're gonna have fun. It's just gonna be awesome. I am psyched about this. I'm really looking forward to the meet and greet. With all the people up there. That VIP thing you have going on, that's a heck of a deal. If you guys look at the way Dave's doing this, Dave has set this up for the customer. He's not setting this up for the speakers or himself. He's not trying to rip anyone off. He's got the way he's doing this is it's very, very customer friendly. So you guys, if you're interested, if you're around, come out and see us, come hang out with us, have a beer with us. Love to talk to you. And Dave does it up right. So he's a class act. You guys will have fun, I promise.
Well, I can't wait to see you again, my friend. And, hopefully we can remake some magical moments, in this world. I mean, that's really what we try and do here on Spaced Out Radio and at Caribou Con is create magic moments. I mean, that's
what we need to do is we need to bring that picture, and for the VIP tours that want to come and meet us, or the VIP people that want to meet us and have drinks and dinner with us. Is that what that is?
Well, what I'm going to do here is I've got this awesome photo of Christian that I took on stage last year at Nebraska Bigfoot Conference, and I'm going to make some posters up so that way Christian can hand them out as gifts to people. I think that would be absolutely outstanding. And Christian, I love it when you were here, my friend, and I look forward to not only having you on the show next month, but seeing you next month as well at Caribou Con. You can get your tickets at CaribouCon.com. Coming up in hour number 3, Christian will likely stick with us. He looks pretty bored, so he'll hang out. We got Swamp Dweller Robin Haynes going to join us next as well.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with your host, Dave Scott.
You sticking around, Big Nuts?
Yeah, I'll stick around for a little bit. I gotta get another beer, but I'm good.
All right, here we go with the video.
In a while.
Here we go with the video.
Stop now! You are under arrest! Hands up! Don't move!
Don't get caught without your Spaced Out Radio merchandise. We have t-shirts, mugs, hoodies, socks, hats, stickers, and so much more. Whatever you're looking for, we have you covered. Why just be a fan of the paranormal when you can look the part? We don't have ugly merch, folks. Check out the Spaced Out Radio store. Find the link in the description below.
Dirty filth. Dirty filth. Dirty filth.
Object is heading north 045 degrees. It's definitely not a plane. It seems to be tethered to something. Is that a banner, Joe? CaribouCon. Does anyone know what CaribouCon is?
CaribouCon, one of the BC Caribou region's best-kept secrets. Until now. Join our panel of renowned paranormal experts for a weekend of fun and intriguing presentations. Go to cariboucon.com to book or inquire now.
Over here. Look at this.
Discover Spaced Out Radio on all your favorite platforms. We're live every single night with the best in UFOs, cryptids, paranormal, and the unexplained. And you can find us on all your favorite platforms. Head over to Instagram for behind the scenes and daily weirdness, TikTok for quick mind-bending clips, Facebook for community discussions, and X for real-time updates and hot takes. Wherever you scroll, Spaced Out Radio is there. So go search Spaced Out Radio on every platform, hit follow, and turn on notifications so you never miss a single episode. The Weird is waiting. See you there.
The McNeil House is one of several buildings at the 108-mile heritage site said to be haunted by spirits of a time long forgotten. But would you stay the night? Along with guided ghost tours and paranormal investigations, Haunted 108 is offering a chance to spend the entire night inside the historic McNeil House by booking one of our B&B style sleepovers, where you can experience the hauntings firsthand, meet the resident ghost cat, and witness unusual activity. If you dare to turn history into a night you'll never forget, book your spot now at haunted108.com. Spots are limited. Will you be brave enough?
All right, let's get prepared to bring in the Cryptid Gee and Robin Haynes. There she is.
Hey, Rob.
Hey, sweetie.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good. Good.
All right,
Excellent.
we got about a minute to go here. Hi, this old cynic. How you doing? Nice to have you here. We still got an hour left, buddy. You didn't miss it all. You just missed most. 2/3 to be exact. 2/3. Robin, it's always a pleasure to see you here.
Yeah, it's good to see you.
Mm-hmm.
Missed you guys last week.
I didn't call you. I'll explain on the air why I didn't call you back.
I didn't know.
Yeah. Because I think
You
it's
all right,
interesting.
Rob? Everything good?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Other than these storms.
One
Terrible
second
storm.
here. 1 second here, guys. Thank you tonight to Mark, T-Bone, Dutch Hank, Pam Harris, JSCO, and T-Bone. Thank you for sharing a gift. Here we go. Here we go with the third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio. My name is Dave Scott. We have Swamp Dweller and Robin Haynes coming up with the Cryptid Q&A. And, of course, you know, there's the big rocket that's about to hit the moon here very, very shortly as well. I'm kind of excited to see that. If you haven't caught it, make sure you do. It's going to be a great video indeed. Hi to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. It is Kakanim. Kakanim is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam says the password each and every night, right here on Spaced Out Radio. Let's head to the swamp.
Hello and welcome to Spaced Out Radio's Swamp. I'm Swamp Dweller, and tonight I'm going to take you on a mystic journey of the unknown, sharing tales of monsters, legends, and nightmares. Welcome to the Spaced Out Radio Swamp. This was back around 2012 when I was a teen. Around this time, I'd spend the summer in the Lake Conroe area, in this middle-class subdivision near the resort, backing up to the lake. I'd go on walks often and was used to seeing wild animals like owls, ravens, falcons, rabbits, your occasional fox, and deer. I haven't been back since my grandma sold the house. At around 9:30 p.m., I was walking around the neighborhood when I spotted a doe. She was across the street, where the main street that loops around crosses with another residential street, walking out of a patch of woods. It was normal to see deer around here, like I said, but this time it felt different. She was big and thick in stature, with muscle mass thicker around the neck and big cheeks, almost like a cowhead. She just stood there in the middle of the street, and I stood there watching her. There was a street light overhead of her, but street lights were sparse there, making everything around her very dark in contrast. We both stood there for about a minute and she didn't look at me. Then she just walked away slowly into another patch of woods and to the other side. but not like how a normal deer would walk. This deer was almost moving like a spider would, but at the same time, looked like it was trying to go back on its hind legs and walk. She eventually approached another patch of woods and disappeared out of sight. I have never been so scared and felt so strange, and everything was so quiet outside. There were no bugs, there were no noises. When she crossed into the woods, I thought to myself, what a weird deer. I don't know if it was a not deer or a deer with a disability or genetic defect, but it stuck with me. The moment was ethereal. What do you all think?
Thank you, Swampy, for another spooky story, if not just a short one there. We really appreciate it. If you want to hear more of Swamp Dweller, hit subscribe, ring that bell on his channel, Swamp Dweller on YouTube. Costs you nothing for thousands of stories that are pretty awesome. So make sure you check it on out. It's time for Robin.
Robin hangs walks soft where the tall trees sway. She hears Bigfoot whisper what the wind won't say. Through the veil of the forest where the wild man plays, the Bigfoot psychic talks to Sasquatch every day. Only on Spaced Out Radio's Cryptid Q&A.
Robin Haynes, it's always great to have you on this show each and every week. We love it when you are here. How you doing, my friend?
I am doing good. I'm glad to be back. Couldn't do it last week due to weather knocked out the internet. So I'm glad to be back this week.
Well, we're glad that you are here as well. So I called you this past Saturday that we were heading into Flight 21.
Yep.
And Brian and I, my teammate Brian, him and I are heading on out there. And Robin, I will tell you this. I got the feeling that it just wasn't a good day to go.
Remember I told you that the energy felt weird? It didn't necessarily feel bad or good. It was just off.
Yeah. And I had felt that before you and I had talked. That I was just like, oh, I don't want to go there today. And I couldn't figure out why, but due to content and everything that we do with our YouTube channel that we are building called Secrets of the Forest on YouTube, I'm like, I should go. I should really go. So Brian and I hop in a Jeep. We start driving up there. We call you, say, hey, we're going, get the feeling, and you kind of give your blasé report. Because that's what it was, blasé. Not that you were blasé, but you're like, yeah, this just feels a little bit odd. And so all of a sudden, we are about 3 miles from the turnoff that we have to take to get in there. And I looked at Brian and I'm like, do you really want to go? And I said, or you want to go trail hopping just to see what else might be out there? And we looked at each other and we were like, let's just go trail hopping. Just doesn't feel like a good day to go out there today. And I don't know whether it was, forest fires that are going on, or I should say bureaucracy fires that are going on, or what have you, but it just didn't feel like it was the right time to go. So I played my instincts.
Yeah, I think that was the right thing to do. They didn't feel bad, but they didn't feel good. They just felt preoccupied. Like they just weren't focused. You know what I mean? There wasn't any major problems or anything. But, it's funny because I tried to remote view you there. Like I looked around the area and I never did see you there. And I thought, well, they must not have stayed long. And then, like I told you when you called, it was storming like crazy then. And I thought, well, I'll let you know if you can't get me. I'm not ignoring you. I just simply can't answer the phone. So, but like I said, when I checked on you, I wasn't looking for you specifically. I was looking at the area. And the big male, he was just pacing. Like he wasn't mad or anything. He was just pacing back and forth.
Yeah, it was so weird. It was very weird in order to just get that feeling, well, maybe today's just not a good day to go.
No, I'm glad you trusted your instincts because that's always the best way to go. I told you before, the first thing that you get is an energetic reading, and that will always be a more accurate reading than anything. When you start to think and process it in that third dimensional brain, it's not going to be as accurate. So you go by your gut instinct, or that's actually just your consciousness reading the energy about it. And that's the truest way to go. That always turns out better.
Christian, have you ever had that where you've been going to a location and all of a sudden you're just like, nope, it's not the day?
Yeah, several times. In fact, the last time we did that, we were checking out this graveyard in the middle of nowhere. In fact, we spent 2 weeks trying to find out if it even been registered anywhere in the county, and apparently it hasn't. But we had some good cryptid activity over there, dog pen area. And actually, we were walking in, and I just got this gut feeling. And I actually called Robin, and this was last year. And I said, I'm not too sure about this. And you just said, turn around, go back. It's not the place today. Today's not the place. So yeah, I've had that before. And it was really weird because the second we turned around to leave, because Christine and I just turned around because Robin said, today's not the day. We just turned around and started walking back to the truck. And all of a sudden, like, I want to say maybe 200-300 blackbirds just flew right over us. And it was like they were in a group. It was the weirdest thing. And they were like kind of just pitching and yawing in the air. It was very strange. And then we left, and they were all like hanging out in that specific area. They're all around branches on trees, just in the perimeter of that graveyard. It was really weird. But yeah, we left. That's because you gotta listen to your gut. Your gut tells you to leave, you leave.
Well, he had called, and I'm like, that you're not supposed to be there. Like, just no. So he goes to leave, and I'm like bubbling him and Christina at the same time because I'm like, what are you guys walking into? And I didn't know if he was going to take my advice and leave or not. So I'm like, okay, if you're going in, you're going in protected. So
we left.
No, and sometimes that gut feeling is just so strong.
Yeah. Well, cryptids right now are acting a little odd anyway. Not in a bad way. Like, I don't want anybody to think it's a bad way. But, I get calls all the time, and then I've got my clients that I work with and stuff. And, of course, the ones here, they are just, I think it's adolescents, but they're being ridiculous. But, I've got some people that are contacting me, and they're like, my group that's always here, half of them are here, half of them are gone. To begin with, that's normal. Okay. They have meetings, they have, hunting parties, they have training for various things. They do, some of the bigger males will leave and go do their thing and then leave a couple guards with the women. But also because everything, again, everything is frequency. Frequency is up right now. Things are coming in that nobody's seen before, that have always been here, but have been hidden away. People haven't seen them because the frequency was too low. That's not the case anymore. So things are showing up all over, and it does not mean that they are necessarily bad. Okay. There's more good than bad. Some are, absolutely, but they're not all bad, but they're popping up all over the place. And so the cryptids are acting a little bit odd now and then too, because they're making sure everything stays safe. Now here, I think they're just trying to see how far they can push me. I don't know. I went outside to bring the mini pigs in before the storm, and they had taken the whole side of my fence that goes into the backyard where the dogs are at. Like, I'm not going to know it's them. The whole entire fence, the top of it, was rolled over facing the inside of the backyard. All the snaps that were holding the fence to the post are not only broken, they're just not even there anymore. They're like gone. I have no idea why. And there was a couple of shingles off the house on the ground, which I could have rationalized and said that was a storm the night before, but we hadn't had a storm during the day, and they weren't there during the day. So I don't know what is going on, if it's adolescence or not. So I will be dealing with their little hairy tushes, but spent, half hour or so fixing a fence for no reason. And it was all faced into the backyard. So it's not like, the dogs did it. And there's nobody that goes over on that side of the fence. And they just bent the whole thing inside. So it's like candy cane shape, you have a straight fence and then a curved top. But I couldn't even find the snaps that hold it on. They were gone. They're just long gone.
Robin Haynes is here for the Cryptid Report. Christian MacLeod is joining us as well as we continue on here. You know, one of the questions that has come up in our chat room is about the forest fires. How does Sasquatch react or other cryptids react to forest fires, Robin?
They're absolutely terrified of them. Okay, it's just like with us. I mean, when you're watching your house burn down, most of them will try to get out on foot. A lot of them will go to a portal and try to get out that way. I have had occasionally some, while this is not the smartest move that they make, try to go underground because they've got tunnels and caverns underground and they've got cave systems and they will go in them to try to avoid it. But the problem is if they've got a cave system where it comes out in another area, if that place hasn't got fire on there, then they're good. But if it is, now they're trapped in these things. And I can't tell you how many times they've contacted me through Mindspeak because they're actually stuck underground. You know, I mean, they think they're getting away from it and they've actually, you know, caused more of a problem. But they will evacuate just like a person would. It takes them quite a while to go back after the fire's over, but there's nothing to go back to. And generally, they'll only send a couple of them in there to check and see if there's anything left for the rest of them to go back to. Yeah, but it's pretty sad. It's devastating. And for all you guys out there that are empaths, trust me, you're going to feel it. Everybody feels it. So, but they get really frightened.
Well, I can understand that fright and fear as we, you know, kind of, you know, live in it. At least I do. Like SOR headquarters is surrounded by forest fires right now. I mean, albeit they're still a ways away. There's no danger here. But getting to T-Bone's question, do any of the elementals or the other cryptids give each other a heads up when things are happening? Animals are usually pretty smart and don't usually get in trouble with forest fires unless they are surrounded by the flames. Or, you know, there was a scenario a few years ago up here where a herd of cattle, you know, they had forest fire on one side and a cliff down to the river, about 300-foot cliff down to the river. Guess what they chose? Right. And, you know, animals, unless they're trapped, are very smart and conscious creatures when they get that smell of forest fire, Robin.
Yeah. And the thing of it is, okay, we know the cryptids, or at least the Sasquatch, are a human hybrid, but they're also high frequency. What most people don't realize, a lot of people do, but a lot don't. All animals are, number one, excessively telepathic. And they also have an extremely high frequency, horses being the highest frequency. And then I think it's like elephants after that. So they're picking up on the frequency change before they ever smell the fire. Then they smell the fire, it makes it more intense. So, and a lot of people will do this too. Like if they're watching the weather or whatever, they'll watch and see how their animals and their pets are reacting. They always pick it up before we do. And the Sasquatch are no different. And then they work themselves, or they're all worked through the collective consciousness. So if one picks it up, the rest of them are going to get it in a heartbeat. It's like their own little, you know, Morse code, secret service, whatever you want to call it. But they will watch the animals in the woods. If the animals in the woods are starting to panic, they're going to panic too. Because they're all linked through the collective consciousness and they're all a higher frequency. Words don't have to be spoken because they're all telepathic. And the elementals and dimensionals are the same way.
Let's move on to another question here, Robin. Here's another one. Robin, we all know about the tree breaks and tree structures, but what is the meaning behind the rock stacking?
Do you know, I've heard various things. And to be very honest, a lot of structures can have different meanings for different clans. Not completely different, but a little bit of variation. My understanding with the rock structures is it has to do with the members in the family or the members in the clan and the importance. Now, I have seen ground structures. In fact, Brian Bland has just amazing structures I've seen made out of rocks. I mean, he really has. And they actually tell a story. Some are maps, some show the river, some show the family members. Generally, the rock stacks from the ones that I've talked to have to do with the mount in their family, not necessarily the clan. If you get a rock structure that has a lot of them in there, then that would be more clan oriented. But normally you'll see, you know, some that have anywhere from 2 to 5 or whatever. And that has to do with the amount in that family group. It also has to do with the range, not so much ages, but the size of the kids. Like if they have a 12-year-old, it's going to have a bigger rock. But then if they have a 2-year-old, you're going to see a small one. And it kind of correlates with that. And that's what they've told me.
All right. Christian, what's your thoughts on the structures?
You know, what's funny is I've seen a lot of structures in Appalachia. And sometimes I think it's the Pukwudgies or little people, because a lot of them, I mean, I have pictures on my website, but they're small. I mean, and then I've seen some of them that are huge, but I've seen a lot of the small ones. And I always thought to myself, that's the little people. I mean, I don't think Sasquatch would waste his time doing something. First of all, his fingers are probably too big, but I mean, they're very tiny. And some of them, I've seen some of them taller than me. So I think they're either indicators, or I think Robin's right. They tell some kind of story, because there's a numeric path or a numeric pattern the way they do things. Like it'll be 2 going this way, turn it this way, it's going one way. And if you don't look at it the right way, you won't notice it. But the rocks are turned. And it's like instead of all being smooth one way, they're not. And so it's like maybe there's some kind of signal or code for them. I don't know. They are fascinating though. I mean, because I've seen them. Some of them I've seen out miles in the middle of Appalachia, in the middle of nowhere, and then you go 300 yards off the track somewhere, and there's a couple there too. They're just like I said, there's a lot. The other thing about these rock structures and tree breaks are everywhere. But if you want to see a real good tree break, you gotta get close, because what'll happen is they don't break it like this; they break it like that, and you'll see like the the fingerprints in the bark. It's fascinating, but there's a lot more of that than you think.
Well, as far as the rocks go, I have to agree with Christian, because they're not limited to just Sasquatch. I mean, we're talking all the cryptids do not the exact same behavior, but very similar. And, it can also be the little kids that are practicing the rock structures. It can be little people. It can be elementals. It can be dimensionals. I mean, it can be any of them, but they all tend to do it. But the ground rock structures are really cool, because they'll show a mixture of not just rocks and pebbles, but sticks and branches. And when we look at them, we don't necessarily pay attention to the sizes, but the sizes of the sticks, the sizes of the rocks or the pebbles are very significant in the story that they tell.
How is that? Explain that.
Well, it's like, when people are out in the woods and they're like, I'm getting, they're throwing rocks at me. And then they laugh at me because I'll say, okay, I need to know what size. And they're like, what do you mean? Well, if it's a little pebble, they're just letting you know they're around. They're being friendly. They're being playful. There's not a problem. They're just saying, hey, look out, we're here. But then as they get bigger, it changes the intent. Okay. When they get about the size, let's say, of a golf ball, now they're telling you, okay, you're getting a little close. Back up a little bit. You're fine. Everything's still good, but you're a little close. Then they start getting a little bigger. The bigger they get, the more trouble you're in. And now they're getting mad because you didn't pay attention. Like when they're doing the little pebbles, they want you to know they're there. They're engaging. They are playing. They are letting you know they're there. They're also waiting to see whether or not when they do that little pebble, are you going to turn around with a gun and try to blast their heads off? Or are you going to realize that it's all done in fun and it's okay? But as they get bigger, the intent is more severe. And they're trying to let you know with these bigger ones that, hey, you're now in my space. I'm not comfortable with you in my space. I really need you to just kind of back off. And they're doing that to try to do it without an altercation. But the problem is our people just now want to go find out more about it. And we end up, a lot of people just keep going in farther. So as they go in farther, now you're encroaching on them, and they feel like they're backed against the wall, and they get the bigger rocks. And now they're serious. And when they want to hit you, they do not miss. And they will do that with anything. And I think I told this story one other time when I had 2 of my boys were out and they were practicing with the bow. And I told them, I said, you can go horizontal outside of the tree line, but I don't want you aiming into the woods. The Sasquatch at that point walked around my yard uncloaked all the time. Didn't matter what time of day. So I'm like, go horizontal. We don't want anybody to get hurt. okay, we will. And they're back there. They're having a good time. They're laughing around. And they shot one in the woods. And as soon as they did, a log came right out at them.
And Robin Haynes, we have her till the top of the hour on Spaced Out Radio. Cryptid Key will join us as well.
This is Spaced Out Radio. Your host, Dave Scott.
All right, we are clear.
Yeah, they sent a log out after him, and they weren't throwing a little stick, they were throwing a log.
Well, let's
he was in a spot he shouldn't be.
Let's go here and here. About 3 minutes away from this rocket hitting.
What is going on with this? I wasn't aware of this.
They're crashing a SpaceX rocket into the moon.
Why?
Hold on 1 second. Christian is just texting me. All right, he lost power, so.
Oh no.
Yeah, he's done for the night. Right, let's find
if he got storms going over there?
Yeah, I think there's some storms going on over there.
We've been getting hit. He's not that far from me. He's only like 2 hours from me. We've been getting nailed.
We got 4 minutes there, 2 minutes here. We got to figure out, every time I talk, I get this scratchy feedback coming back. You're not wearing headphones, are you?
Mm-mm. I never do.
Yeah, I don't know why.
I have the tiniest ears known to mankind. I cannot get headphones to stay in my ears. I don't care. I bought expensive ones and cheap ones. They will not stay in my ears. They're too tiny. They're just tiny. I'm a freak of some kind. I don't know. Now, who thought it was a good idea to crash this into the moon?
Well, I'm sure there are some reasons behind it. I just haven't been able to find out why. Yeah, there's like this scratching that goes on every time I talk.
You sound clear to me.
Yeah, it's coming through on my end, and I don't understand why it's happening. So weird. And you're the only one this happens to.
That is so weird.
It's been like that since you got your new phone.
I'm on a different phone.
That's weird.
That is so bizarre.
Very weird. All right, 51 seconds. Where is this bad boy? Come on, let's see this impact. I was hoping we'd be able to see the rocket here flying in.
Yeah. I hope they're on the right side of the moon. So one side is all bases.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so that's the zoomed in version. So the left is zoomed in version, right? Okay. I get it. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Where is it? I don't see it. I don't see it.
I don't see anything.
That's very anticlimactic.
Well, yeah. Nice blue color, though.
I wonder where it hit. Where's the kaboom?
Yeah.
Where's the kaboom?
That's wild.
I I was hoping to actually see that happen.
I wonder if they'll have like some kind of replay of it on the internet.
Oh, I'm sure they will. I'm sure they will. Old Davey's going to start looking for it right now. All right. "30 seconds. Thank you to Mark. Thank you to Dutch Hank. Thank you to Pam. Thank you to GSCO. Thank you to T-Bone for not only a super chat, but a gift of membership as well. Thank you, buddy.
Nice.
Uh-huh. Wanted a kaboom.
Hey, I love ya.
I wanted a kaboom.
I know, that's really disappointing.
Here we go.
Okay.
Half hour of Spaced Out Radio is now underway. Thank you for joining us. My name is Dave Scott. Robin Haynes is in the hot seat with the Cryptid Q&A. And Robin, I have a little story to tell you. There's one of your biggest fans, Nicole. She was sending me some messages during the break and the last half hour. And I want to read this to you so that way you kind of get a feel of what's going on. She says, "I forgot to tell you my feeling of spooky." Now, she lives in Illinois. Her neighbor to the right or left of her, one of the two, I think it's to the right, is a cemetery. And so all of a sudden in the woods in the cemetery, she thinks she had a vision of the voice you're supposed to follow or something calling your name. She says, "I thought it was my cat, hurt and meowing for me, but it wasn't. Whatever I thought was meowing was just leading me further and further into the woods through the cemetery. Then I realized it was happening and I said, 'Oh crap, you're not fooling me.' I instantly stopped, turned back, and didn't hear it again, and didn't turn around, but felt like something was watching me or following me. And both my cats were inside. Not that it couldn't have been a stray cat, but I trusted that feeling that came over me. And the stories of the voices popped instantly into my brain like a warning alarm." What do you think happened here?
Well, first off, when you were telling me that before you said she lived next to the cemetery, I kept seeing all these spirits around her. So that made perfect sense. You know, we have a lot of energies out there right now, good and bad. And there have been stories through the years of people hearing these voices. Well, what happens is we have, whether it's a spirit, a bad entity, a bad cryptid, or whatever, they can get into your mind and they can put images in your mind. They can project feelings, thought, emotions so that you think it's your own thought. Or you can hear their voices. If they get enough energy pull, then they can actually manifest enough where they can actually verbally speak. But if not, you'll hear them in your head. You hear them in your head and you think it's you. Okay, that you really do. And they draw you out in the woods. So like when that happens, whether it's verbally or whether it's mentally that you're getting this call to go out there. Okay, if it feels off to you, you don't respond. You don't say, "I'm not going with you," or you don't think it. You want to get your mind off of it. I don't care if you're slapping yourself across the face silly. You don't want to think about them because it helps them connect with you energetically. You turn around, you do what you're supposed to do, and just like she did, you just walk out. But you make no contact. You don't want an energy tie with whatever that is. But there are a lot of people that have had that happen. I myself have had that happen before. Only I got it through MindSpeak. And it was telling me to go different places. I had a friend one time that happened to, and then they got him out in the woods and they told him to kill himself. He happened to be on the phone with me at the time, and I kept talking to him and communicating with him when he got out of there. He got 2 miles away from the area and he was still on the phone with me. He's like, what's going on? He had no memory of it whatsoever. So these darker entities can not only verbally speak out loud to call you, they can make a sound like they're a baby. It could be a bad entity. It could be a bad cryptid. It could be a spirit. It could be anything. It could be a bad ET. Or they can get in your mind and put that thought in there that you need to be there. Okay. We all know about Salt Fork, and they've got all those Sasquatch and Dogmen and stuff all over Salt Fork in Ohio. Years and years ago, at the back of that park is some caves, and there's not some real nice ones back there. The grumpy ones go back there and the good ones stay up by the lodge. And I've interacted with them before, but I got contacted by one at the very back of the park, and instead of just confronting me and talking to me, it kept putting in my head that I needed to go to Salt Fork immediately, which I never used to go there. I mean, I went there a couple of times. That was it. And so I was like ready to pack the car and everything when it was like, wait a minute, this is not right. This is not like, this is too out of the blue. So you've got to be really on your toes. Like Nicole did the right thing. She didn't bend into it and she left. But when it happens, whether it's verbally or mind speak or just this very strong feeling that you get like you're supposed to do it, do not let it connect with you. I don't care if you put a rubber band on your wrist and slap the rubber band. Whatever you have to do, think about hot fudge sundae. I don't care what you think about, but think about something other than that, because if you focus on that, you're letting it connect to you energetically, and then it will follow you wherever it wants to go. So she did the right thing getting out of there. Absolutely. But they absolutely can do that.
Nicole is following up with this right now. She says, it was when I got to the edge of the woods through the cemetery. I felt great walking through it. It was at the woods that I got the warning.
When she got the warning to go in or to leave?
To leave.
Okay, then that is an indicator that there was also something good out there, and it was mind speak, because remember with mind speak, it's multiple ways. It can be a sense of knowing, a projection of feelings, putting an idea in your head. So something out there was looking out for her that was good and saw what was going on and got her out of there. So thankfully she's all right. That could have been a very bad situation.
Yeah, she said the feeling is like, do not go in those woods.
Yeah, and that, again, that feeling that strong is mind speak. That is a form of mind speak. There's so many ways to get mind speak. It's unbelievable. People think it's just one way, maybe two ways. No. And the term mind speak is very misleading. But it's because it alters your mind. It's not just words. It's thoughts, feelings, emotions, a sense of knowing, something popping in and telling you to do something and making you feel like it's your own thoughts. It's all of these things, pictures, images, things playing like a video. You can get any of them. But yeah, somebody was helping her out, which is great.
That'd be spirit guides or maybe something else.
You can call them spirit guides. It can be spirit guides. It can be cryptids. It could be angels. I mean, it could be any of the above. The only way she would know which one it was is if she's able to read energy, and then you can pick it out as to what exactly it is that's helping you along. But it can be any of the above. Absolutely. And somebody was definitely looking out for her.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. They
go through the consciousness.
Could that have been Wendigo or Skinwalker?
That was pulling her into the woods? Yes. But they wouldn't have helped her out. Something else did. Whatever helped her out was very much aware of the danger and was trying to stay, out of the way of that danger and get her out safely, which is what it did. So, I mean, she's very blessed that she's intuitive enough to be able to pick up those signs. Once you learn how to read the energies, then it's easier for you to pick it up as to what it is. It's all an energetic read.
Robin Haynes is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. Nicole goes on to say, I think all of the spirits in the cemetery look out for me.
Well, I think that's beautiful. Most spirits are very well intended. There's only a few that aren't. I have one right now that, has been harassing somebody and been a bad little monkey. And so he was harassing her and wouldn't leave her home. So he's now bound up in a bubble with gold bars and he's not too happy because he was bad. He can't break out. So he wouldn't cross over. I gave him the option. I did. I let him go to the light. He wouldn't go in it. So now he's basically going to stay the way he is. But he hasn't bothered her since.
No. Let's get some cryptid stuff here. A lot more people continue to have encounters who've never had encounters before. Are the Sasquatch in a migration mode, a moving mode, or an expansion mode of their territory right now? And that's why all these sightings are happening?
No. First off, they do not migrate. They will send parts of the clan on hunting trips, and people tend to think that, oh, look, if they're migrating, they're not migrating. Although some of them do move from time to time, but they do not migrate because they are not an animal. Right now, frequencies are very high, so they are pretty much coming out of the woods. They're more noticeable now. They're more active now. As other things are coming forward, also we have a lot of unknown cryptids, a lot of unknown beings that are also moving as well. So they are at the same time. So they're starting to come out more. The higher the frequencies go with our people, the more active they become.
Explain how that works.
Well, everything in their world, and actually in ours, we were just always led to believe it isn't, is based on frequency and energy. Okay? If you're a person has unkind thoughts, wants to hurt animals, people, yourself, others, constantly negative all the time or whatever, you have a very low frequency. The cryptids don't like to be around that. It makes them physically ill. They don't like it. So they're going to back off. They're going to stay away. But if you're a person of higher frequency, which means, you're somewhat happy most of the time, you want good things for people, you're kind, you're compassionate, that puts you in a higher frequency. Does not mean that we don't all mess up, because we all have our days when we're absolute nightmares. That's normal. Okay. None of us are perfect. We weren't made to be perfect. But a higher frequency person is an open-minded person that accepts all these things in the paranormal spectrum. They are kind, they are compassionate, they care about their fellow man, and they care about other beings as well. That puts you in a high frequency. The higher your frequency, the more high frequency beings want to be around you. Okay, so this is why the cryptids are more active, the elementals, the dimensionals, the little people, the aliens, all of these things are, and animals. You're going to notice animals drawn to you more so than ever too. These are all high frequency beings. So when your frequency is up, everything wants to be around you. When the frequencies go up, you hear people talk about, oh, the veil is thinning. Well, you can call it a veil. You can call it the line between the dimensions, whatever you want to call it. It thins out due to the high frequency, because people work through the collective consciousness, which is the law of Ra, the law of one, and you work together. That thins that line between the dimensions. When that line is thinned out, all those higher frequency beings are more comfortable being around our high frequency people, and they become more active. In that same respect, those high frequency beings, if you have a certain area, let's say they have gangs or very negative people, dangerous people or whatever, they don't want contact with them, but they're going to be more aware of them because they want to make sure they don't come into their territory and hurt their families. So then they tend to be a little bit more aggressive. They tend to want to watch those people, not because they like them or care about them, but they want to make sure that the enemy isn't going to come in and hurt their families or their clan. But a lot of the movement that we're seeing right now is because as the world shifts into that higher frequency and more of our people are becoming more aware, they go through the awakening, their frequency is up, they want to be around them. It feels good to them. It's like getting a hug. And they become much more active. And with that, line between the dimensions, the veil, whatever you want to call it, thinning down, and our frequency is up, we're starting to see more activity. Now, I have some people that call me and they're like, well, some of mine have disappeared. They're not gone for good. They're either hunting, they're having meetings. I had some disappear for 8.5 months. And when I asked them where they went, they were in training. Okay, for what, God knows. I mean, I've had some that did it not too long ago, and then they came back.
What do you mean by training?
It depends. At that particular time, the ones of mine that left, the females stayed back. There were some guards and hunters with the female, but the more prominent members and the clan, they left. I was in Michigan. They went to Minnesota. And when they went there, they were gone for 8.5 months, and they wouldn't even let me talk to them. When they came back, I said, "What were you training?" And they said, "For war, to help protect the people," meaning their people. And I was like, okay. I've had other ones that have left, and believe it or not, they came back, and I said, "Where'd you go?" "Practicing magic." Their magic and our magic is different. Okay. To them, magic is abilities. It's not spells. It's abilities that they're using and how to use them, how to enhance them for the better of the clan. Other ones have gone and been gone 4 or 5 weeks and then come back. And I said, "Where are you going?" "We had meetings." These are a type of people, and they do have a culture and a way of life, and it may not be ours, but they do have them. So we do have some similarities on things that they do. They have reasons to disappear. Like I said, they'll have hunting groups. If food tends to be scarce where they're living, rather than move the entire clan into the unknown, they will do one of two things. If they have a second home where the game is more plentiful, they'll go there and stay for a little while until it gets back up where they originally started from, and then they go back. They're not migrating, they're just simply wanting food. But a lot of times they will send hunting parties of the hunters that are in their clan, and they'll go off and bring food back. It's like Pike Peaks, in Colorado. Everybody's like, "Oh, look, you can see the Sasquatch going after the elk herd because they're migrating." No, the elk herd is migrating. The Sasquatch are not. They're simply following the food source. They'll get the elk. They'll have 4 or 5 of them, sometimes a little bit more, go up there. That's a hunting party. Just like when we have our people that might go, like my son loves to go to Colorado once a year to go elk hunting. He's not migrating. He's simply going there because he enjoys it and the food source is there. And they will do the same thing. They'll get the food. They'll go back to the clan. It just depends on various things. But yeah, they absolutely do take off for a while, but there is no migration. And it generally, I would say comfortably 7 out of 10 times the whole clan doesn't go. Now, I had some in Michigan. His mate, the one I was really close with, well, I had a couple of them I was really close with, but one of them, his mate came from Florida. She hated it in the winters there. And she got to where she would go back down to Florida in the wintertime. She'd be back up as soon as the weather got warmer. She did. And it was so funny. She came back and it was snowed. She was freezing and she kept mind speaking, going, "I'm cold, I'm cold, I'm cold." And so I said to her mate, I said, "Make fire for her. You know how to make fire. You make it all the time." He's like, "We're fine. We're not cold." I'm like, "She's freezing her hair off. Like, make fire for this woman right now." And they use the older wood. The older wood does not smoke like a younger, or a fresher wood would. So they use the really old pieces of wood, and a lot of clans, I would say 75% of them will make fire. But yeah, she didn't like the cold. She was born and raised in Florida. She went to Texas for a while, and then she met him. And so she wanted to be with him, and she was there, and she froze. So she would go back down to Florida where her mom was. When they had kids, she went down to Florida, and she had twins. And she was on her way back to Michigan, and she's like mind speaking with me, and she's like, "I'm bringing back a surprise." And I said, "What are you bringing back?" And she said, "He's not going to like it." And I said, "What did you bring back?" She was bringing back a cat. She wanted me to tell him she was bringing this cat because he didn't want the cat. It was just like a husband and wife thing. It was hysterical.
Oh,
and now he's obsessed with the cat, takes the cat everywhere.
You got to love good cat stories when it comes to Sasquatch, man.
I don't, they're crazy. I mean, they'll get in the backyard and they'll, pick up the dogs or whatever, or they'll go in my feral cat pen and they'll go in there and play with those feral cats, and they can gentle those cats in a heartbeat. Nobody else can touch them, but by God, they can. I'll go out there the next day, 5 pounds of food will be gone, and then pine cones are filled in the bucket, and pine cones can't get in because that whole kennel has got, a top and everything. And you find all these giant footprints in there. The other night I went out to check them, before the storm, and there was a towel in there. I've never put a towel in there. I mean, how are these cats getting a towel? And the towel looked like it had been just drug all over the place. It was filthy dirty. There was a towel in there with them, and I have never put a towel in there with them. And I'm the only one that goes in there.
That's very
other than my 2-year-old granddaughter.
Yeah, that is crazy. We got 2 minutes to go here.
Okay.
Daytime or nighttime best to have a sighting?
Absolutely daytime. I see more sightings of them in the day than at night. Why everybody's running around in the dark, I have no idea. They're out there hunting. They're not nocturnal, but their prey is more active at night, and we are not as active as night. So they'll go out at night. I've been out in the woods at night with them, but you can't see well. Our eyes don't adapt as well as theirs do. And they're out hunting. They're out doing their business. They have things to do, and we're out there aggravating them. Now, generally, I've had sightings, early in the morning, but my best time of sightings is anywhere from 12:30 to about, I don't know, 7 o'clock. And then they disappear for a while. And then, they'll come up. And like I said, they used to wake me up at 2:30 in the morning or 2 o'clock in the morning to go out and sit with them. But they're out there hunting. Like, I've been out there and had them hunting like off to the right of me, not even 15 feet away. It's not a place you want to be. They never tried to hurt me, but it was really creepy. They were killing a raccoon. It was awful. But people go out at night because they think that they're nocturnal, and they're not. And they're going to go out there and they're going to get a sighting at night, but they can't see at night. They can avoid the thermals. Sometimes you get them on thermal, sometimes you don't. Depends on what vibration state they're at. And they go out there thinking that's the time to see them, when the reality of it is they're just as active during the day.
I get that and appreciate that. Robin, quickly, how can people find you?
You can find me if you want services at www.paranormal-empowerment.com, or you can find me on Facebook if you want to set up a session, or if you just want to ask a question. It doesn't cost anything for that. Under Robin Haynes, Haynes, no middle initial on Facebook.
This is why we love you, my friend. And Robin is here each and every week at this time to hang on out with us, to talk Bigfoot, to talk cryptids, to talk monsters, paranormal, absolutely anything. She is an encyclopedia of the weird and strange, and that is why we love it when Robin Haynes is here with us, and that's why she's got her own time slot. As we say goodnight to Robin, and hello, Mr. Ron Bumblefoot Thal, rocking in the background with Little Brother is Watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thanks to everybody listening in at work, at home, in your cars, wherever you may be. Thank you to everyone in our chat rooms tonight. YouTube, Twitch, LGAP, Facebook, Spreaker, LinkedIn, the Space Travelers Club, and on X, hashtag Spaced Out Radio. Remember, this show is copyright by Spaced Out Radio and Bigfoot Broadcasting Limited. Thank you so much for choosing to share your evening with us, because together, my friends,
we're watching.
We own the night. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. Yes, the Woo train has docked for the night, but soon, my friends, we shall ride again. Seats are always available. Your tickets never expire. And if you want to bring a friend, we've got room for them too. Good night, everybody. Good job tonight, people. Kept your head on a swivel. How you stay safe. tomorrow night on the show. Tomorrow. I love you tomorrow. Preston Dennett, Dolly Saffron will be here to talk about experiencers disclosure. What's the diff? What's the biggie? It should be a good one. Saw a couple names in here. Philip Miller, how you doing? Thank you so much for listening. Let's see here. Who else do we have? Top. Dry Toast, best name on YouTube, right there. Silcola, welcome to SOR Chat. How you doing? Welcome. Dr. Bob, nice to see you. Scooby Dooby Gooby, welcome to SOR Chat. That's a great name as well. Malthea, how you doing, my friend? Good to see you here. Dimensional Hack, how are you? How did I miss all these? I've been watching the chat room all night. Coming up here shortly, I will be on with Walter M. Sterling on the other side of midnight. Coming up in about a couple minutes, my phone will ring from New York, WABC in New York. So you're going to head on over there. Thank you to T-Bone, Dutch Hank, Pam, JSCO, and Mark. And thank you, T-Bone, for gifting a membership once again as well. Kira, thank you for the super chat as well. We love you. And I didn't even see that one come up. What the hell's wrong with my eyes? All right. On that note, we're going to say goodnight. We'll see you all tomorrow for Preston and Dolly. Have a good one, everybody.
Healthy, my friend.
You too.
You need bail money, give me a call.
Always, Dad. Take care.
You too.